Have you ever wondered why your mind won't let go? Even when your body is tired, even when the house is quiet, even when you lie down in bed with the soft darkness pressing gently against your skin. The day has ended, the tasks are done, but your thoughts are like restless birds flapping against the cage of your skull. You close your eyes, but behind the lids, a screen lights up. Memories, regrets, worries, things you said or didn't say, futures that haven't come yet, but already hurt. You're not alone in this. The quiet that comes after 60 often carries with it echoes louder than noise. The children are grown. The calendar isn't as full. And in that wide open space, the mind sometimes becomes louder, not quieter. It's as if anxiety long buried under years of doing emerges now that there is space to feel it. But listen closely. You are not broken. Your mind is not your enemy. This struggle is not a personal failure. It is a gate, a soft invitation, the very place where peace begins. I invite you now to take a breath. Not a deep breath, not a forced breath, just one that you notice, in and out. Let it be ordinary, like a leaf moving in wind. You don't need to breathe better, just watch it. You'll notice something watching. The breath begins to quiet the storm, not by controlling it, but by choosing not to join it. Imagine yourself standing at the shore of your thoughts. The waves come sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but you remain on the sand. You feel the wet tide touch your toes, but you are not the ocean. You are the one watching. You do not need to chase each thought. You do not need to fix them. The mind will offer 100 doors each leading to worry or memory, but you are not required to open any. Let them pass. Let them stand unopened. Let them dissolve, just as mist does when the morning sun rises. If thoughts come, let them come. Don't push them away. Don't invite them to stay. Just bow slightly to each one as it passes and say, I see you, and then let it float. Like petals in a river. Sometimes the more you try to stop the mind, the more it tightens its grip. But you're not here to win a battle. You're here to remember something you already know, that peace is not created, it's uncovered. It has always been there, like the sky behind the clouds. And yes, sometimes those clouds are thick. Regret, fear, what ifs. But the sky has never disappeared. It only waits patient. So let yourself wait too. There's no urgency here. In this moment, you do not need to solve anything. Not even your anxiety. Not even your sleep. You are not here to conquer, but to listen. Listen not with your ears, but with your being. What does this moment feel like? Not what do you think about it, but what do you sense? Is there a tightness in your shoulders? A buzz beneath your skin? That's okay. It's okay for the body to hold echoes of the day. Just notice, not with judgment, but with tenderness. Like you'd watch a child fall asleep. The mind doesn't know how to let go because it has spent decades gripping. It held fast to plans, responsibilities, achievements, roles. Now, at this stage of life, it is asked to soften, But that softening may feel like falling. That's why we begin with breath. That's why we begin with awareness. They are the bridge. Again, notice your breath. Not by changing it, by watching. The inhale, the pause, the exhale, the stillness. Let yourself ride this rhythm like a leaf on a stream. If the mind interrupts good, that means it's alive. Bow to it. Return. If sleep comes, welcome it. If it doesn't, that's okay. You are still resting. You are still healing. Peace is not only found in sleep, it is found in allowing what is, in letting go of resistance, in being. You do not need to be better, quieter, wiser. You only need to be here, right now, with me, with this breath, with this body. Nothing more is required. That is the lesson. And we will return to it again in different ways, in different images, through different Zen doors. But each time, it is the same silent truth. You are already the stillness you seek. You are already home. There is a fear that gently creeps in as you age, not loud, not sudden, but persistent, like a slow wind that erodes even the hardest stone. It is the fear of losing strength, memory, time, of losing people, of losing meaning, and most painfully, of losing yourself. It often disguises itself as restlessness, worry, or even sharp edges in your mood. But underneath those surfaces is a tender, aching truth. You have loved this life. You have invested yourself into it. So, of course, part of you trembles at the idea of it changing or slipping from your hands. The rhythm of youth once covered this fear with movement. There was no time to stop to reflect. But now, the days stretch differently. The house is quieter, and the mind in that new stillness starts to echo with questions it never dared ask before. What if I can't hold on? What if I forget who I am? What if I become invisible? These questions are not shameful. They are sacred. They arise in the presence of something holy, your awareness. You are aware of time now more than ever. That is not a curse. That is a calling. The teachings of the Buddha did not ignore these questions. They faced them directly. Aging, sickness, and death were not seen as flaws in the design, but as teachers themselves, messengers of clarity, reminders that everything changes, that nothing is stable, that nothing truly belongs to us, not the body, not even the mind. And yet, that can bring peace, because if nothing can be held, then nothing needs to be clung to. You can begin to loosen your grip finger by finger around the things that used to define you. Let go of the image you had of yourself 10 years ago. Let go of the roles you carried so nobly, parent, partner, provider. They are beautiful chapters, but they are not the whole book. Who you are is not a role. Who you are is not a title. Who you are is the awareness that has watched it all happen. That awareness doesn't age. It doesn't decay. It remains steady, like a flame in still air. When you sit with this awareness, even the fear begins to lose its shape. You realize that it's not death you're afraid of. It's the idea of losing meaning. But meaning is not something that dies. Meaning is the scent left behind by a life lived with presence. It lingers even when the form changes. So what happens now in this next part of your life is not a diminishing. It's a return, a coming home to something quieter, older, and deeper than achievement. A soft resting in simply being. You don't have to fill every silence. You don't have to answer every doubt. Just sit with yourself as you are. If sadness arises, bow to it. If regret surfaces, watch it gently. They are not enemies. They are not your fault. They are signs that you have lived and that you are still opening. And even now, you can open more. You can soften the grip of fear, not by forcing it away, but by acknowledging it like an old companion, familiar, but no longer in charge. You are in a new chapter, a sacred one. The chapter where peace becomes more valuable than praise and sleep becomes more meaningful than success. You don't have to hold on to everything anymore. In fact, the holding on is what causes the suffering. So let this be your practice tonight. Let go gently. Let go of the image of perfection. Let go of the pressure to be strong. Let go of the fear of forgetting. Let go of the future that hasn't come. Return to what is here. This breath, this body, this moment. You may find in doing so that what you thought was fear was love just hidden under layers of control. And when love is freed from control, it becomes peace. You deserve peace, not because you earned it, but because you are alive, because you have walked through so much and are still here, breathing, listening, opening. Let that be enough, and let that be the beginning of your rest. Come back to your breath, not as a technique, not as a performance, but as a simple reunion. Breathing is the first return home. It is what you've always done, even before memory, even before language. Before you knew what fear was, before you carried names and identities, you breathed. You breathed as a baby, soft and rhythmic. You breathed through joy, through heartbreak, through long nights and busy days. And now, in this quiet moment, the breath is still here, patient as ever, waiting to be noticed. So, you don't need to fix anything. You only need to come back. Let the breath rise like a gentle tide, and let it fall without effort. Feel it touch the edges of your ribs. Feel it soften your belly. Feel it travel through your body, not like air, but like presence. Like a gentle reminder, you are still here. You are still breathing. And if you are breathing, then peace is still possible. The breath is not just oxygen, it is an anchor. It tethers you to this moment when the mind wants to drift into tomorrow or linger in yesterday. It pulls you gently into now, not with force, but with familiarity. As you rest here with this breath, notice how the mind begins to loosen. Not because you told it to, but because the breath invites it into rhythm, into a slower pace, into trust. Anxiety cannot survive in full presence. It needs a future to feed on. It needs a what if, and maybe a shadow of what could go wrong. But when you are fully in this breath, there is no room for those ghosts. There is only air and skin and silence. Let your breath become your teacher. Watch how it gives and receives without clinging, how it comes and goes with no argument, how it serves you without condition. There is deep wisdom in that. To breathe is to participate in the dance of life without needing to control the music. You just move and rest and move again. You may notice that your breath changes as you observe it. That's okay. It may become shallow, then deep. It may pause. That too is part of the lesson. The breath teaches impermanence. Everything changes. And yet it continues, in its own way, in its own time. You don't need to standardize it. Just follow it like a leaf follows a current. When thoughts come, and don't chase them. Don't swat them away. Just return to the breath. Say inwardly, in, out. In, out. Like a lullaby to the mind. Like a song that reminds your body that it is safe now. Safe to release. Safe to unwind. The breath is where the body and spirit touch. It is the invisible bridge between the seen and unseen, between tension and surrender, between thought and stillness. When your heart is heavy, breathe. When your sleep is far away, breathe. When the mind replays old scenes, breathe. You do not need to do more than this. Just breathe and let your breath hold you like a cradle. There is a story in Zen about a monk who spent years trying to find enlightenment. He fasted, studied, chanted, and still his mind was restless. One day, he was told by an elder, "Go and breathe with the wind." Confused, he sat under a tree and listened. The breeze came and went. The leaves rustled. His chest rose and fell. He stopped trying, and in that stopping, he realized he was already home. You don't need to go anywhere else. You don't need to become someone better. You only need to breathe and allow yourself to be breathed by life. When you surrender to breath, you surrender to being. And in being, there is nothing to prove. No performance to maintain. Only awareness. Only presence. Only peace. So lie back now. Feel your weight on the bed. Let gravity do the holding. Let the mattress catch your tired body. You don't need to hold yourself up anymore. The breath will do that for you. Let go. Let go a little more. Let go until you forget what you were trying to hold on to. Let go until even the letting go becomes effortless. You are here. You are breathing. And that is enough. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you feel, it all moves, it all changes. It all slips softly out of your hands eventually. And yet, so often, we try to hold it all still. We grasp at people at time, at certainty, as though we could freeze what is meant to flow. But nothing is permanent, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be frightening. Impermanence isn't an enemy. It's the rhythm of life, the breath of the world. You may feel it more deeply now at this stage of your life when change has become more visible. The body is softer, slower. Faces around you grow older or vanish. The mirror reflects someone wiser, someone gentler, but perhaps also someone more vulnerable. You might find yourself clinging more to routines, to memories, to identities you've carried for decades. And that's natural. It's a part of being human. But in Zen, we are invited to loosen that grip. Not to lose, but to love without holding too tightly. When you understand that nothing stays, you begin to see the beauty in the moment that is here. The softness, of a single breath. The quiet between thoughts. The way your hand still fits perfectly around a warm cup of tea. You notice more, not less. Because you stop assuming it will all be there forever. The flower opens because it will wither. The moon glows because it will fade. Life becomes precious, not because it is permanent, but because it is fleeting. And if you stop resisting that, you start to feel peace in its flow. There's a tree outside your window that changes with the seasons. It doesn't fight the fall of leaves. It doesn't grieve the absence of blossoms. It simply stands, rooted in being, open to whatever comes. Can you be like that tree? Can you witness the shedding in your own life, not as loss, but as preparation for something new? Impermanence means that pain passes, that loneliness fades, that even the most restless night will in time soften into dawn. And it also means that joy is precious and now is sacred. So when you lie awake, fearing what might disappear, gently remind yourself it was never yours to keep. Not because you are unworthy, but because life cannot be owned. It can only be experienced. And the more you open to that truth, the less you need to chase, to grasp, to control. You begin to trust. Trust that what comes is meant to come, and what goes must go. In the teachings of the Buddha, clinging is the root of suffering. Not because desire is wrong, but because attachment hardens the heart. Imagine holding water in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it escapes. But if you cup your palm gently, it rests there calm and still. This is how you must hold your life, gently, tenderly, without fear. When a memory comes, let it rise like smoke. Watch it swirl. Smile perhaps, then let it fade. When a worry knocks on your chest, welcome it in. Offer it tea. Let it speak, then bow as it leaves. You don't need to silence the mind. You only need to stop clinging to what it brings. Impermanence is your ally. It reminds you that even the tightest knot loosens. Even the heaviest emotion lightens. Nothing stays. And that includes the weight you carry. So tonight, let it fall. Let every muscle soften. Let the jaw release. Let the shoulders drop. Let the breath deepen. You are not losing anything. You are simply returning again and again to what is real right now. This moment, this breath, this bed, this stillness. Impermanence isn't the end of things. It's the space that makes meaning possible. Because you know it will pass, you are more awake to its presence. So listen closely. The sound of the night air, the warmth of your blanket, the quiet thrum of your breath. They are here now. They are enough, and so are you. Imagine a stream in the mountains, clear cold water tumbling over stones, carving its way through time. It never hurries, never resists. It flows, it adapts, it continues. And beneath that flow lies a single pebble, small and smooth, resting quietly. The stream does not disturb it. The pebble does not fight the current. It simply sits. This is the mind you are learning to discover. This is the practice of settling, of not fighting the movement of life, but allowing yourself to rest within it. Your thoughts are like water, always moving, always shifting. You cannot stop the flow, but you can choose not to be swept away. You can sit like the pebble, unmoved, grounded by awareness. You may feel tired of the constant thinking, the looping worries that run in circles and bring no answers. You may try to push them out to demand silence, but silence does not come through force. It comes through softness, through stillness, through letting go. When you stop chasing quiet, it begins to find you. Like mist rising from the earth, it surrounds you gently. Not because you controlled it, but because you stopped disturbing it. So try now to be the pebble. Let the stream of thought move around you. It can swirl, it can bubble, it can even roar. But you do not have to follow it. You can sit at the bottom watching, feeling, breathing. This is the art of resting in the midst of movement. In Zen, we don't escape the world. We sit right in the middle of it and choose not to be pulled apart. And that choice is made not by strength, but by softness, by non-resistance, by trust. You may be asking, how do I do this? How do I stop reacting? The answer is simple, though not always easy notice. That's all. When a thought comes, notice it. Don't argue. Don't follow. Don't panic. Just say inwardly, thinking, then return to the breath, to the body, to the moment, again and again. No need to succeed. No need to be perfect. Each return is a blessing. Each noticing is a victory. Each breath is a new beginning. The pebble does not resist the water. It simply remains still, present, trusting. You too can remain. Even when emotion rises, even when doubt returns, you do not have to fix every thought. You do not have to chase every worry. They are not instructions. They are not truths. They are just movements in the mind, like wind through tall grass. Let them pass. Just sit. Just breathe. Just be. The more you do this, the more the mind begins to shift. It begins to understand that it doesn't need to fight, that it doesn't need to control, that it doesn't need to exhaust itself in search of answers. There is peace in not knowing. There is rest in not solving. You are not a problem to be fixed. You are a presence to be witnessed. So notice yourself now, lying here, breathing, safe, whole. Even with thoughts, even with fears, still whole. The stream will always move. That's its nature. But the pebble remains. That's your practice. That's your truth. Let your body be heavy now, like stone. Let gravity take you in its arms. Feel the pull of the earth steady and calm. You don't have to hold yourself up. You don't have to be strong right now. You can surrender. You can rest. Rest is not escape. It is not giving up. It is returning to the ground, to the breath, to the rhythm beneath all things. Even the Buddha had to sit under the Bodhi tree and face his thoughts. He didn't defeat them with force. He saw them. He named them. He smiled at them. And in his seeing, they lost their grip. You can do the same. You already are. Each time you notice the mind and return, you are practicing awakening. Even if you don't feel it, even if you doubt it, it is working. Your nervous system is listening. Your breath is guiding you. Your awareness is remembering. Remembering that you don't need to fix the stream. Just rest in it. Let it flow. Let it speak. Let it fade. And let yourself remain. You may feel emotion rising. That's okay. Tears are water too. They come to cleanse, to release. Let them fall if they come. Let them speak what words cannot. Your body knows how to let go if you let it. Don't resist. Don't cling. Just be. Like the pebble in the stream. Silent. Grounded. Real. You have nothing to prove. No one to impress. No goal to meet. You are already enough. More than enough. Exactly as you are. You have made it to this moment. You are here listening, breathing, willing. And that is sacred. That is more than enough. You can rest now. You can trust now. The stream flows. The mind moves. But you remain. You are not your thoughts. You've heard this before, perhaps many times. But tonight, let it settle in deeper. Not as an idea, but as a lived truth. Thoughts arise in your mind like clouds drifting across the sky. They appear, they move, they dissolve, and still the sky remains unchanged. You are the sky. The thoughts are not who you are, they are what passes through you. Some thoughts are loud, demanding, flashing like lightning. Others are soft whispering like leaves in a breeze. But none of them are your core. None of them define you. Not the ones that say you're not enough. Not the ones that bring back old shame. Not even the ones that try to soothe you. They are all passing weather. And the mistake we make again and again is believing we are the storm. When in truth, we are the space that allows the storm to come and go. You may lie awake at night, feeling like your mind is attacking you, pulling you into stories of fear, loss, or regret. But remember, just because a thought appears does not mean it deserves your attention. Thoughts are habits. Some have been repeating themselves in your mind for years, like grooves in a path walked too often. But every time you notice a thought and choose not to follow it, you soften that groove. You create space. You breathe new possibility into your inner world. So don't try to stop thinking. That is not your job. Your job is to notice and return. Notice and return. Over and over, gently, patiently, like a mother guiding a child back to sleep. There is a Zen saying, let thoughts come and go. Just don't serve them tea. You are allowed to witness what arises without engaging. A thought may knock on your door. Let it knock. But you do not have to let it in, sit it down, and ask what it thinks of your life. You can smile at it through the window, then return to the breath. The breath is your home. It does not judge. It does not require. It just is, always there, always now. When the mind spins stories of what could go wrong or what should have been, let the breath remind you you are here. You are safe. You are enough. Right now. No thought has the power to change the truth of your being unless you give it that power. And tonight, you are reclaiming it. You are learning to rest as awareness itself. The awareness that sees the thoughts but is not made of them. The awareness that listens to the inner voice but is not caught in its web. Imagine watching a river from the shore. You see leaves floating by, some dark, some light, some familiar. You don't jump in to chase them. You don't shout at the water. You simply watch. That is your mind. That is your practice. Let the thoughts float. Let them pass. Return to the shore. Return to the breath. This is not about controlling the mind. It's about remembering that you are more than it. The mind is a tool, a storyteller, a mirror, but not the self. You are not broken because your mind is busy. You are not failing because thoughts keep coming. You are simply learning to be still while the river flows. There may be moments where thoughts feel too loud, too heavy. That's okay. Don't resist them. Don't argue. Just notice. This is a thought. Then breathe. You may say to yourself, not me, just a thought. And in that noticing space opens. In that space, peace enters. Slowly, gently, like light spilling through a cracked door. Let it come. Let it fill you. Let it soften the edges of your heart. You are not your worries. You are not your fears. You are the one who sees them, the one who listens, the one who remains. And even when the thoughts feel relentless, you have a refuge. Right here, in the breath, in the body, in the awareness that holds it all. You don't need to fight. You don't need to win. Just be with what is. Let it move through. Let it dissolve. And know that in every moment of watching, you are returning to yourself. Deeper, clearer, freer. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky, wide, open, unchanging. And even now, as thoughts move like clouds in your mind, the sky within you waits patiently, unchanged by the storm. The body remembers peace. Even if your mind has forgotten it. Even if your days have been long and your nights restless, somewhere within you, there is a memory of stillness, not a memory formed by words or thought, but a memory held in the bones, in the breath, in the way your chest rises and falls without needing instruction. The body carries everything, joy, sorrow, survival, but it also carries silence. Beneath the tension in your shoulders, beneath the tightness in your chest, there is a layer of you that has never been anxious, a layer untouched by fear, a place within that knows how to rest. You don't need to create peace. You only need to uncover it, to remember that your body was made to return to balance, that your nervous system is not your enemy, it is your messenger. When it sends signals of distress, it's not punishing you. It's calling for your attention. So bring your awareness now to your body, not to change it, not to fix it, just to be with it. Notice the weight of your body where it touches the bed, the sensation of the blanket on your skin, the quiet pressure of your head against the pillow. Let yourself be held. Let gravity carry you. You don't have to resist it. The earth is steady. It is always beneath you. And now you are invited to surrender into that support. Begin at your feet. Feel them softening, ankles relaxed, calves loose, knees melting into stillness. Let go piece by piece, thighs, hips, belly. Let the breath move in and out without effort. Let it be like waves gently touching the shore and retreating. Chest open, shoulders dropped, hands resting without grasping. Neck released, jaw soft, eyes closed or barely open, heavy with gentleness. The body knows how to relax. It just needs permission. So give it. Whisper to yourself, it's safe to let go now. Again, it's safe to let go. You are not in danger. You are not on trial. You are not required to be anything other than this here now, alive and breathing. Feel into the spaces between your thoughts, between your fingers, between each breath. These are the places where peace lives. In Zen, there is a deep reverence for the peak, not as something to transcend, but as something sacred. This very body, with its age, its weariness, its aches, is the vessel of awakening. Enlightenment is not floating above your body. It is fully entering it, fully being with it, fully listening to its language. What is your body saying now? Maybe it's tired. Maybe it's sore. Maybe it's longing to be acknowledged without judgment. So acknowledge it. Thank it. Speak to it like an old friend who's carried you a long way. Say, you've done well. You've been strong. You can rest now. Even the breath, the heartbeat, the warmth of your chest. These are not just biological functions. They are reminders that life still flows through you, that something vast and mysterious continues to sustain you. Let that mystery wrap around you now like a warm blanket. You don't need to understand it. You only need to receive it. If pain is present, don't resist it. Bring your awareness to it gently. Name it. Say, this is pain. I see you, not as an enemy, but as a signal. Ask what it needs. Maybe rest, maybe kindness, maybe nothing but to be acknowledged. You don't have to force it away. Just be with it. You may find that in the act of being present with the body, something begins to shift. A sense of connection, of rootedness, of belonging to something deeper than thought. This is the beginning of healing. Not fixing, not perfecting. Just healing through presence, through breath, through kindness. The body, like the earth, has seasons. Sometimes it's winter, still aching quiet. Sometimes it's spring, moving, releasing, alive. Wherever you are in your season, trust that you are where you need to be. The body remembers peace. It remembers sleep. It remembers how to settle into stillness. You are not teaching it something new. You are inviting it back to something ancient, something true. So, let go now into that memory. Let each muscle soften. Let each thought slow. Let each breath deepen. You are returning, not escaping. Returning to the temple that is your body. Returning to the breath that is your prayer. Returning to the peace that never left it, was simply waiting to be remembered. Let the noise settle on its own. That's the way of things. In the natural world, dust doesn't need to be swept from still air. It simply falls when the wind stops. Water doesn't need to be forced into calmness. It clears when movement subsides. In the same way, your mind doesn't need to be silenced. It only needs to be left alone for a while. Thoughts rise because that is their nature, but you don't need to feed them. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to wrestle them to the ground or explain why they're here. Just allow them to exist without inviting them in for conversation. When you stop interfering, when you stop reacting to every movement within you, begin to notice something beautiful. Stillness begins to emerge on its own. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of presence. A silence that hums, that breathes, that feels soft and vast like the sky before dawn. Imagine this now. Your thoughts are like snow in a shaken globe. All day long you've been shaking the globe with stimulation memory, stress interaction, and the flakes swirl in every direction. But now, you've placed it gently on the table. The flakes don't stop all at once, but watch they begin to fall. They begin to rest. Your mind is the same. Right now, it may still be swirling. That's okay. Don't rush it. Don't judge it. Let it swirl. Let it fall. Let it rest on its own time. Your only job is not to shake the globe again, not to interfere, not to resist, and not to cling. Do nothing. Just stay. Stay with the breath. Stay with the body. Stay in this room, in this moment. If thoughts arise, let them. Don't analyze. Don't respond. Don't debate. Just name it thinking and return. Thinking, return. Thinking, return. The mind will eventually realize it's not being rewarded with your attention. And in that quiet withdrawal, it will slow. It will soften. Just like a child who cries less when they know they're being gently held, not fixed. In Zen, there is deep wisdom in non-doing. Non-doing does not mean passivity. It means presence without interference. It is the art of allowing things to be as they are without reaching to change them. This is difficult in a world that praises productivity, analysis, reaction. But here in this space, you are not a problem solver. You are not a performer. You are just a being, a breathing, present being, and that is more than enough. When you stop reacting to the noise begins to lose its urgency. You might still hear it like distant traffic, like echoes from another room, but it no longer pulls you in. You're no longer trapped in the cycle of reaction. You become the witness, the watcher, the calm at the center of all things. And this calm does not come from effort. It comes from surrender, from allowing, from trust. Trust that silence will find you if you stop chasing it. Trust that stillness will return if you stop disturbing it. Trust that healing happens in rest, not in control. You are not broken for having a busy mind. You are not behind. You are human. You are alive and your awareness is deepening. Already, now even as you listen, you're learning to lean into silence, to trust the quiet beneath the thought. You don't need to force your way into peace. You just need to get out of its way. Peace is your natural state, like water when it's left undisturbed, like snowflakes falling in a still room, like leaves drifting to the forest floor in autumn. Everything knows how to settle. Your breath knows. Your body knows. Your spirit knows. So allow it. Let the moment hold you. Let this bed become the temple of your rest. Let this darkness be soft like velvet over your skin. Let each sound grow distant. Let the edges blur. You don't need to hold your mind still. It is not a stone. It is a lake. Let it ripple. Let it calm. Let it return to itself. If noise arises again later, that's okay. Each time is a chance to return. Not with frustration, but with grace. Gently, kindly, like leading a frightened bird back to the nest. With patience, with love. You're doing enough. You're being enough. Let the noise settle on its own. And while it settles, rest here. Breathe here. Trust here. Nothing else is required. The moon reflects, not clings. It does not chase the water to hold its image, nor does it despair when the waves ripple and break the reflection. The moon simply shines, and whatever the water does, it reflects. This is the way of the awakened mind. This is the way you are invited to live, to rest, to be. When you stop clinging to your thoughts, to your emotions, to your circumstances, you begin to reflect life instead of being swept away by it. Just like the moon. In Zen, we learn from nature, not because it speaks in words, but because it shows us. And the moon, constant and serene, shows us the power of presence without attachment. You may be lying here with worries flickering in your chest, with images from the past surfacing uninvited. You may feel regret, longing, even guilt. These are waves. And the old way of the mind would have you jump in, try to fix them, solve them, figure out where they came from. But there is another way now, the way of the moon, the way of reflection, to see what rises and let it pass, to observe what hurts and not try to change it immediately, to witness every emotion like a passing cloud, every thought like a reflection in a moving stream. You are not here to hold everything. You are here to see it clearly, just as the moon does. When the lake is still, the reflection is clear. When it ripples, the reflection dances. But the moon remains untouched, still full, still whole, still shining. That's you. That's your awareness. When you stop grasping at peace, peace begins to find you. When you stop clinging to what the mind says, the mind begins to soften. And when you stop resisting the flow of emotion, the heart learns to rest. You are not meant to carry it all. You were never meant to be the container. You are the witness. And witnessing is more powerful than controlling. In the stillness of witnessing, the heart unwinds, the body releases, the soul expands. Let yourself shine like the moon tonight, not trying to hold anything, not trying to change the waves, just offering presence. Quiet, constant calm. You may wonder, how do I reflect without clinging? It begins with pause. When a thought arises, pause. When a fear surfaces, pause. Breathe. See it. Name it. Then let it go. No judgment. No analysis. No story. Just presence. The more you do this, the more you realize that most thoughts pass on their own. They do not need you to chase them. They do not need you to feed them. And the ones that return again and again, they are simply unhealed places, asking to be seen, not fixed. Let them speak, then let them go. You are not cold for letting go. You are not detached. You are present, deeply present, so present that you no longer need to control everything to feel safe. So present that you can allow life to move through you and trust it will not destroy you. That is power. That is freedom. That is the path. The moon does not fear the night sky. It belongs to it. It does not fear the changing tides. It watches them. You too belong to this moment. You too can watch without drowning. You too can be calm within movement. Let this be your invitation tonight, not to fix, not to grip, but to reflect. Let your mind be like the surface of a quiet pond. Let your awareness be like the moon, clear, still, gentle. And if the pond ripples, if the reflection blurs, do not despair. Just return to stillness. Just wait. Just breathe. Stillness always returns. The moon does not disappear when the clouds come. It waits. And so can you. Rest now. Not as someone trying to solve life, but as someone who knows how to reflect it. Rest as the moon does, quietly, softly, with nothing to prove. Let the emotions pass. Let the thoughts flicker. Let the waves rise and fall and remain full, whole, untouched. You are the moon. You are the reflection. You are the stillness. Let go and shine. Sleep is a spiritual gesture, not merely a function of the body, not simply the closing of eyes and the slowing of breath, but a sacred surrender. Each time you fall asleep, you enact something profound. You let go. You allow yourself to dissolve into the unknown. You release control. You trust that the world will continue without you for a while, and that you will return. And this trust is not small. It is deep. It is the same trust that a seed has when it breaks open underground, that the tide has when it pulls away from shore, knowing it will come back. Tonight, I invite you to see sleep differently, not as something to chase, not as a problem to solve, but as a spiritual offering, a bow, a whisper to the universe. I let go now. I surrender this day. I release this body. I return to the silence. When you frame sleep this way, you stop resisting it. You stop demanding that it arrive in a certain form at a certain time with perfect stillness. Instead, you begin to soften, to trust, to welcome it with the reverence it deserves. Just like meditation, sleep cannot be forced. The more tightly you grip it, the more it slips away. But when you sit beside it with open hands, it may gently rest its head on your shoulder. So be here now as one who is preparing a sacred offering. Let the body become a temple. Let the breath become incense. Let your awareness become soft candlelight. You are preparing to bow, to return. And even if sleep does not come quickly, the act of preparing to receive it changes everything. You move from tension to openness, from urgency to peace, from grasping to surrender. In Buddhism, the moment of falling asleep is often compared to the moment of dying. Not in a morbid sense, but in a holy one, because in both the ego loosens, the sense of separation dissolves, you return to something vast, formless, free. Each night, you practice letting go of identity. You forget your name, your plans, your worries, and somehow you wake again, renewed. That is no small miracle. That is a kind of rebirth. So as you prepare to sleep, bless this act. Let it be more than just the end of a day. Let it be a ritual of return, a return to being, to breath, to stillness. You do not have to be perfect to deserve rest. You do not have to be calm to be worthy of sleep. You do not have to finish every task, resolve every issue, clear every thought. You only have to stop, to close your eyes and say inwardly, "It is enough now," because it is. This day has been enough. This life has been enough. You are enough. Sleep is not the reward for doing everything right. It is the invitation to rest no matter what. To rest even in the middle of uncertainty. To rest even when your heart is still heavy. To rest even when your mind continues to move. And yes, the mind may resist. It may offer one more memory, one more fear, one more story. That's okay. You are not here to argue. You are here to receive. So receive what comes. Then let it pass, like wind across a field, like leaves falling in autumn. Let each thought come. Let each thought go. You are not trying to stop them. You are simply not grasping. Let them move. Let them fade. Let them fall away until only breath remains. Inhale, exhale. That is the rhythm of your return. The breath is your lullaby. The stillness is your cradle. Let the night become your teacher. Let it show you how to stop striving, how to be held, how to trust the silence that holds you, even when you sleep. And remember, you are not alone. Every creature on this earth sleeps. Every tree rests. Every flower folds. You are part of that sacred rhythm. You are not separate. You belong to the night just as much as to the day. And in this belonging, you are free. So now, lie back. Let your limbs grow heavy. Let your breath grow soft. Let your thoughts fade like footsteps in snow. You are not doing anything wrong. You are not behind. You are arriving, finally, fully, into this sacred pause, into this spiritual gesture called sleep. Beneath the pain is softness. It might not seem that way at first. When pain comes, whether in the form of anxiety, grief, or exhaustion, it feels sharp, overwhelming, sometimes unbearable. It tightens the chest, closes the throat, spins the mind in circles. But this is only the surface. Pain, in its rawest form, is just energy, a wave moving through the body. And like all waves, it has a center, a quiet place, a gentle place. Pain tries to protect something soft. It arises because something has been touched, something important, something tender. And when we meet pain with resistance, we only strengthen the armor around it. We tense up, we defend, we push it away. But if we can breathe into it, if we can stay just a little longer, we might begin to sense the truth underneath. Pain is a call for attention, not punishment. A call to return, to listen, to hold. Let yourself listen now, not to the story of the pain, not to the reasons your mind might recite, but to the sensation itself. Where does it live in your body? Is it heat, pressure, a vibration? Place your awareness there gently, like you'd place your hand on the shoulder of a crying child. Say nothing. Just be present. You may notice that it changes. Pain is never still. It moves, it pulses, it shifts. Sometimes it becomes sharper. Sometimes it softens. Sometimes it lingers like a fog. But whatever form it takes, your job is not to control it. Your job is to stay present. That presence is the beginning of healing. In Buddhist practice, there is a deep respect for suffering, not as something to glorify, but as something to honor. The Buddha did not turn away from suffering. He sat with it under the Bodhi tree until its roots were visible. And what he found beneath suffering was not despair, but awakening. Because when you sit quietly with pain, without judgment, without urgency, it begins to tell you what it truly is. A reminder, a teacher, a doorway. Beneath it, you may find grief. Beneath grief, you may find love. Beneath love, you may find the quiet knowing that you have always longed to return to yourself. Let your breath guide you there. Let it move in and out through the place where pain lives. Not to push it out, not to fix it, but to offer companionship. I'm here, the breath says. I'm not leaving you. Pain begins to soften in the presence of that kind attention. It begins to unfold, to melt. It may not disappear completely, but it becomes less frightening, less alone. You are no longer fighting yourself. You are no longer at war with your experience. You are resting inside it. You are finding the softness beneath the sharpness, the tenderness beneath the tension. And this tenderness is not weakness. It is the source of your strength. It is the part of you that has always survived, that continues to breathe, that reaches for healing even when you feel broken. You are not broken. You are hurting. And hurting is a sign that you are still alive, still open, still in motion. So don't close. Don't harden. Stay soft. Even if it means crying, even if it means trembling. Let the wave pass through. You are not the wave. You are the ocean, and the ocean holds all things. When you welcome your pain without fear, you are reclaiming your wholeness, no longer exiling the parts of you that ache, but embracing them, holding them, making space for them to breathe. This is radical compassion. This is inner peace. Not the absence of pain, but the courage to face it with love. Tonight, let this be your practice. Not to avoid the discomfort, not to silence it, but to meet it like an old friend. One who has come to remind you of something sacred. Breathe with it, hold it, let it soften. You are not alone in this. Every person you've ever known has carried pain. Every being on this earth has knelt before suffering. And still the sun rises, the breath returns, the heart continues to open. Yours too. You may not feel it fully now, but beneath everything, beneath the fear, the fatigue, the pain, there is softness, still untouched, still whole, still waiting for you to return. Not knowing is freedom. It sounds strange at first. We are taught from a young age that knowledge is power, that answers give us control, that certainty makes us safe. And so we build our lives like fortresses, brick by brick, with beliefs, conclusions, plans, predictions. We try to hold the future in our fists. We try to wrap the unknown in words, but the more tightly we cling to knowing, the more brittle we become. Life doesn't follow our maps. People don't behave as we expect. Our own emotions change like weather beyond our ability to forecast. And the harder we try to know it all, the more exhausted we become. Because knowing is heavy. It demands maintenance, defense, explanation. But not knowing that is light. That is spacious. That is where peace begins. To not know is to be open. To not know is to stop pretending you have to hold the entire sky in your hands. It is not ignorance. It is trust. Trust that life will unfold even if you don't understand how. Trust that your breath will still move in and out even if you don't direct it. Trust that you can rest without needing to solve everything. Right now, let yourself rest in the space of not knowing. You don't have to figure out tomorrow. You don't have to explain what happened years ago. You don't have to make sense of every emotion passing through your chest. Let go of the demand for clarity. Let the questions hang in the air like lanterns gently glowing without needing answers. In Zen, the beginner's mind is sacred. It is the mind that meets each moment fresh, without assumption, without expectation. It asks nothing except to witness what is. That's your invitation now, to let go of the expert, the analyzer, the judge, and return to the quiet witness. The one who says, I don't know, but I'm here. I don't know, but I'm listening. I don't know, but I'm willing to be with this. You may be surprised how liberating that is. Without the need to understand, you begin to feel. Without the pressure to define, you begin to see. And in that seeing, truth arises not in words, but in presence. This is how the flower opens. Not because it understood the sun, but because it surrendered to its warmth. You don't need to understand healing for healing to happen. You don't need to understand peace for peace to arrive. You only need to stop resisting what you cannot know. The fear of not knowing often hides beneath anxiety. What will happen? What will they say? What if I fail? What if I forget? These questions run like endless wheels in the mind. But what if you allowed yourself to answer softly? I don't know. Not as a defeat, but as an offering. As an act of humility. As a quiet bow to the mystery. Because the truth is, most of life is unknown. We don't know what dream will rise tonight. We don't know how long we will live. We don't know what our next breath will bring. And yet we breathe. And yet we continue. Not knowing is the natural state of all beings. The tree does not know when spring will return. The river does not know what stone lies around the bend. And still they remain. And still they grow. You too can grow in the space of not knowing. You too can become rooted even without a map. Because presence does not require answers. It only requires surrender. It only requires you to be here. In this breath, in this body, in this moment. And this moment is always enough. If your mind returns to questions, that's okay. Bow to them. Then return to the breath, to the stillness, to the softness of not needing to solve. This is the practice. Not knowing yet staying. Not knowing yet breathing. not knowing yet loving. The most sacred moments in life, birth, death, love, awe, are moments beyond explanation. You do not explain your way into grace. You fall into it. You soften into it. Let sleep be the same. Not something you force. Not something you need to understand. Just something you receive like a gift. Like a secret language between your body and the silence. You may say now, I don't know if I'll sleep tonight. Good. That means you're free. You are no longer demanding, no longer measuring. You are resting in the truth of this moment where no answers are needed. You are enough even here. Especially here, in the mystery, in the quiet, in the deep, sacred not knowing. Let yourself float now in that space. Let the body grow heavy. Let the breath grow soft. Let the mind loosen its grip. You are held by something larger than knowledge. You are held by life itself. No maps, no formulas, just presence, just breath, just being. That is enough. That is always enough. The old bamboo doesn't break. It bends. It sways. It dances in the wind. But it does not snap. Even under pressure, even in storms, it leans with the force rather than resisting it. And that is why it survives. That is why it stands long after other stronger things fall. In Zen, we look to bamboo, not as a symbol of strength in the conventional sense, but as a symbol of resilience, of flexibility, humility, and quiet power. You too can be like that. At this stage of your life, you may have felt the winds of change grow stronger. The body has different needs now. The mind remembers differently. The people you love may be farther away or even gone. And there is a part of you that might feel fragile. But being soft is not the opposite of being strong. In fact, it is the greatest form of strength. Bamboo never forgets its rootedness. It is deeply planted, grounded in the earth. And so even when it sways, it does not fall. You too have deep roots. They are in every breath you've taken, every moment you've survived, every kindness you've given. Your roots are in your practice, in your presence, in your patience. You don't need to be rigid. You don't need to brace yourself for every emotion or hold yourself tight against every uncertainty. You can move with what comes. You can bend and still be whole. There is wisdom in yielding. There is power in softness. There is grace in the choice to open rather than shut down. Let yourself bend tonight. If sorrow appears, let it move through you like wind through tall grass. If a memory surfaces, let it sway your heart without breaking it. You are not here to be made of stone. You are here to be alive, to feel, to allow. And in that allowance, you become unbreakable. Not because nothing touches you, but because everything passes through you, and still you remain. The breath is like bamboo. It flows in, it flows out. It does not get stuck. Let it teach you how to move, inhale and receive, exhale and release. No holding, no grasping, just movement, just rhythm, just trust. There will be nights when your heart feels too full, when your thoughts pull in different directions, when rest feels far away. That's okay. That's the wind. Let yourself sway with it. Don't try to stop the movement. Don't try to pretend you are unaffected. Just let the motion become part of your practice. sway, then return, bend, then breathe, and know that your roots hold you. You have survived so much, not because you hardened, but because somewhere within you, something stayed flexible. Something believed in the possibility of tomorrow. Something chose again and again to soften instead of break. That part of you is your true strength. Nurture it, honor it, trust it. In the quiet moments, remember, you don't have to hold everything in place. Let the world shift around you. Let the seasons pass. Let the people change. Let the plans unravel. You are still here, and you are enough. You are not too old to grow. You are not too late to awaken. You are not too tired to rest. You are simply at a different rhythm now, a slower, deeper rhythm. One that listens more, one that holds more gently. Let your breath match that rhythm. Let your thoughts slow to meet it. Let your body find its own way into stillness, not by force, but by return. There is no rush. Bamboo does not race the wind. It simply responds. Sleep is the same. It cannot be summoned with willpower. It comes when we stop resisting the night, when we stop trying to control the quiet, when we surrender to the natural movement of things. So surrender now, not as defeat, but as wisdom. Let yourself be the bamboo. Let yourself sway. Let yourself move. And when the wind passes, and it always does, you will still be here. Rooted, whole, alive. No matter what comes, you are enough. You are enough to be here. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to earn your right to rest. You don't have to justify your presence with achievements, productivity, or endless strength. You are here, and that is enough. So many years of life may have taught you otherwise. Maybe you've been praised for how much you can carry, how little you ask for, how much you give. Maybe somewhere along the way, you learned that rest must be earned, that silence must be filled, that stillness is only for those who have finished everything. But that is not the truth of the present moment. That is not the way of Zen. The truth is simpler, softer, kinder. You exist, therefore you belong. You breathe, therefore you are welcome. You are tired, therefore you may rest. In this space, no one is measuring your worth. No one is asking what you accomplished today or what you plan to do tomorrow. You are not being judged. You are not being tested. You are being held by the earth beneath you, by the breath within you, by the awareness that knows no name, no condition. Let that truth settle deep into your bones. You are enough. Not because of what you've done, not because of what you know, but because of what you are. A living, breathing expression of presence. An open door to the moment. A witness to stillness. In this moment, there is nothing more to attain. You've arrived, right here, with your breath, with your body, with whatever thoughts or emotions are passing through. Even if your heart is heavy, even if your mind is busy, even if your body aches, still you are enough. The lotus does not wait to bloom until it is perfect. It rises from the mud exactly as it is and opens, slowly, beautifully, truthfully. You can do the same. Let yourself open now, not with effort, not with expectation, but with trust. Trust that this moment is whole, even if it feels incomplete. Trust that your breath is sacred, even if it feels shallow. Trust that your being is welcome, just as it is. There is no ideal version of you waiting on the other side of sleep. There is only this you, this version, this breath, this body, lying here now, waiting not to be improved, but to be accepted. Let your mind soften around that. Let your body unclench. Let yourself stop trying for just a little while. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too much or too little. You are exactly what this moment needs. Nothing added, nothing removed. Let the tension fall away from your forehead. Let the weight in your shoulders melt. Let your hands rest without grasping. Let your breath find its rhythm again, as it always does when you stop trying to shape it. You don't need to meditate perfectly. You don't need to think beautiful thoughts. You don't even need to stay awake. You are allowed to drift. You are allowed to disappear into sleep, into silence, into the soft darkness where the mind finally lets go. There is no judgment here, only presence, only being. And your being is enough. You've carried so much. Let it go now. You've tried so hard. Set it down now. You've held yourself to such high standards. Loosen your grip. You don't need them tonight. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to live up to anything. Just be here. Just breathe. Just rest. This is your time to return to yourself. Not to the self you present to others. Not to the self shaped by roles and labels, but to the quiet self who watches it all. The self that never left. The self that simply is. There is no need to search for it. Just close your eyes and listen. It is there, in the silence between your thoughts, in the pause between your breaths, in the warmth that spreads when you finally stop resisting. That's you. That's enough. That's everything. So tonight, let yourself belong to the present. Let yourself belong to rest. Let yourself belong to this gentle truth: you are enough to be here. No need to earn. No need to try. Just breathe. Just be. And let that be more than enough. The sound between heartbeats is not empty. It is full of presence. That subtle pause, that moment of silence after the pulse. It holds something ancient. Something quiet, yes, but also something alive. In that space between one beat and the next, you are not doing, not thinking, not striving. You are simply being, and that is enough. That is where peace begins, not in dramatic awakenings or perfect moments, but in the soft, unnoticed pauses that are always there. We often think that life is made of events, of actions, of clear beginnings and endings. But what if life is also the stillness between those events? What if the most sacred part of a song is the breath the singer takes before the next note? You've spent your life moving, doing, achieving. You've loved and struggled, built and rebuilt. But now, you are in a different rhythm. one where stillness speaks louder than sound, one where you are invited not to push forward, but to listen inward. So listen now, not just to your breath, not just to throw away your thoughts, but to the space between. Place your attention on your heartbeat. Feel it in your chest, or in your hands, or maybe in your feet. Let yourself sink into its rhythm. Let it rock you like a lullaby written by your own body. Inhale, beat, silence. Beat, silence. Exhale. In those silences, the world returns to itself. No noise, no rush, just the presence that holds everything together. The heart does not demand applause for beating. It does not ask if it's doing enough. It simply continues. Faithfully, gently. Let your mind learn from that rhythm. Let your thoughts slow to meet it. Let your breath move with it like two friends hiking in step through a quiet garden. When you become still enough, you begin to hear the hidden music beneath all things. The hum of life, the pulse of presence, the quiet within the quiet. It does not need to be explained. It only needs to be received. In Zen, there is a teaching that silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of everything. That when the mind is still, reality becomes clear. That in the space between words, between breaths, between thoughts, you meet the true nature of being. You don't need to create this space. You only need to notice it. It is already here. Between the inhale and the exhale, between the beat and the pause, between the thought and the letting go. And in that, noticing, you begin to shift. You begin to loosen your grip on needing to be anything other than present. No need to figure out the past. No need to perfect the future. You are not a puzzle to be solved. You are a presence to be lived, and your presence is already whole. You might find now that your body is softening, that your breath is slower, that your mind is less urgent. That is not because you did something. It's because you stopped doing. You allowed the natural intelligence of your being to return. And that intelligence does not speak in language. It speaks in silence. It speaks in sensation. It speaks in stillness. Trust it. The sound between heartbeats carries all the messages you need. That you are safe, that you are here, that you are loved. Not by someone else, not by the world, but by the very life that breathes you. That beat is not just survival. It is a reminder. You are still alive. You are still becoming. You are still opening. Let that soften you. Let that carry you. You don't need to fix anything tonight. You don't need to change. You don't need to seek. You only need to stay close to that rhythm, that gentle beating, that sacred silence between. It will hold you. It will sing you to sleep. And even if thoughts return, even if worry taps on your shoulder, you can return to the sound beneath the sound. You can place your attention on the pulse. You can say inwardly, "Here I am," and that will be enough. That will always be enough. The body is wise. It doesn't ask for explanations. It asks for permission to rest, to heal, to slow down. Give it that permission now. Let your weight sink deeper into the bed. Let your breath lengthen without force. Let your muscles unwind. Feel the softness spread through your neck, your chest, your back, down into your arms, your belly, your legs. Let your body remember what it knew all along, that it is allowed to rest, that it is safe to let go, that it is held by something larger than effort. You are not alone in this. Every being everywhere lives by this rhythm. Trees have heartbeats too. Slow, nearly imperceptible, but present. Oceans rise and fall with their own breath. Stars pulse with light. Everything breathes. Everything rests. Everything carries silence. You are part of that. Not separate, not forgotten, not left behind. Part of the great quiet. Part of the great pulse. So tonight, fall into that rhythm. Let the sound between heartbeats guide you home. No goals, no waiting, no measuring. Just this breath, this beat, this silence. You are already resting. You are already healing. You are already whole. The mind is a garden, not a cage. It may not feel like that when your thoughts spiral, when memories rise uninvited, when the ache of worry blooms again and again in the silence of night. In those moments, the mind can feel tight, confining, like a narrow corridor with no exit. But that's not its true nature. The mind is not meant to trap you. It is meant to grow. And like any garden, it flourishes when tended with care, not force. The weeds, those restless thoughts, those fears, those old narratives, don't make it any less a garden. They are just signs that something is asking to be seen, to be understood, to be allowed. You don't rip out the weeds in fury. You don't burn down the garden because it isn't perfect. You kneel, you breathe, you observe, you pull gently, or you let them be, trusting that they too will pass. This is your practice now, to shift your relationship with your thoughts. Not as enemies, but as visitors. Not as rules, but as ripples. And most importantly, not as the truth of who you are. When a thought appears that says, I am too much, or I am not enough, it is not a commandment. It is a passing shadow on the wall, a shape made by old light. You are not the shadow. You are the wall. You remain. Let this truth guide you deeper into stillness. The mind is not broken. It is simply overgrown. It has been fed by years of doing, solving, bracing. And now, in this quieter chapter of life, it's confused. It reaches for what it knows, patterns, defenses, roles. But beneath all that, the soil is still rich. The space is still sacred. And the seeds of peace, planted long ago in moments you may not even remember, those seeds are still alive, still waiting for light. So give them that light, not by forcing stillness, but by offering attention. The same way you'd sit beside a young tree and protect it from harsh winds. The same way you'd water it softly, not flood it. Every breath you take tonight is water. Every act of noticing is sunlight. Every moment of choosing gentleness over judgment is air. And with these, the garden of your mind begins to open. Slowly, quietly, honestly. You may still hear the noise of thoughts. This is natural. Gardens are not silent. They hum with life. Insects buzz, branches sway, leaves tremble in the breeze. Let your mind do the same. But anchor yourself not in the chances, but in the awareness of the noise. That space behind the thoughts. That part of you that can hear without reacting. See without clinging. Feel without collapsing. That is your ground. That is your root. Return to it now. Feel the breath moving in and out like wind through the grass. Let the belly rise and fall like the earth breathing beneath a field. Let the muscles in your forehead soften. Let the eyes rest. Let your jaw loosen. Let your tongue relax from the roof of your mouth. Let the shoulders sink into the bed. Let the arms lie heavy as if returning to the soil. Let the hips widen. The legs lengthen. The toes curl slightly, then fall still. This body is the garden's gate. This breath is its path. This awareness is its caretaker. You don't need to do more than this. Just be with what is, and when your thoughts tug at you, gently return. Whisper to yourself, "It's okay. Let it grow. Let it pass." Over time, the tangled vines of habit begin to release. The stories lose their sting. The worry loses its urgency. You begin to see the spaciousness again, the quiet glades of the mind, the pools of still reflection, the places where truth lives not in words, but in being. And what is that truth? That you are already enough, that you are not your anxiety, that you are not your memories, that you are not the tension that sometimes rises like fog. You are the space that holds it all. And that space is kind. It does not punish. It does not measure. It does not need you to be perfect. It only asks that you stay. Stay in the garden. Stay with the breath. Stay with yourself, not as an effort, but as a return. This is not the path of fixing. This is the path of befriending. Let that be your mantra. Now I befriend my mind. I befriend this moment. You are not here to conquer your thoughts. You are here to witness them bloom and fade. And slowly, the more you return, the more your mind will remember how to rest, how to root, how to breathe. Even the wildest gardens can be beautiful. Even the most tangled places can open to light. Let yours open now. Let it stretch. Let it sigh. Let it grow without rush. You are safe here. You are enough here. You are already home. What you resist grows sharper. It's an old truth whispered by many traditions, but few have shown it as clearly as the teachings of Zen. The more you fight a thought, the more power you give it. The more you reject a feeling, the deeper it digs in. Resistance hardens what could otherwise pass. It tightens the body, narrows the breath, speeds up the heart, and yet we resist because we think it's the only way to survive. If something painful rises, the natural impulse is to push it away. If fear appears, we brace. If sadness comes, we distract. But what if the opposite was the path to peace? What if turning toward your discomfort, not to indulge it, not to drown in it, but simply to acknowledge it was the first step in letting it soften? Right now, maybe there's something inside you that you've tried to keep at a distance, a memory, a fear, a thought you wish you could erase. Let it come closer, not all at once, just one breath closer. Let yourself notice its shape, its energy. Where does it live in your body? Is it a tension in your stomach? A tightness in your chest? A heat behind your eyes? Don't label it as bad. Don't try to solve it. Just be with it. Sit beside it. Like you would sit with someone who is hurting, not to fix them, but to be there. The moment you stop resisting, something changes. You open, and the pain, which once felt solid, starts to move. The mind relaxes its grip. The body breathes again. The feeling when given space becomes less urgent, like a wave that loses its height as it spreads. In Zen, we say, let it be, let it dissolve. This is not passivity, it's wisdom. You are not giving up, you are giving space. You are allowing what is already present to flow. And in that flow, you find relief. Think of how rivers form, not by pushing the rocks away, but by moving around them. Not by resisting the terrain, but by surrendering to its shape. And still, they carve their path. You can do the same. You don't need to force change. You only need to allow truth. The truth that this pain, this thought, this moment, uncomfortable as it may be, is here. And the more lovingly you let it be here, the less it controls you. The less it defines you. The less it returns. The breath is your anchor in this process. When resistance rises, breathe. When fear tightens, breathe. When doubt speaks, breathe. Not to make it go away, but to stay with it, to stay with yourself, to remind your nervous system that you are not in danger, that it's okay to feel, that it's okay to be here with all of it. There is a Zen story of a monk who, while meditating in the forest, was visited by terrifying visions, demons with sharp teeth and flaming eyes. At first he fought them. He chanted. He yelled. He tried to drive them away, but they grew louder, more fearsome, until one day, exhausted, he stopped resisting. He opened his arms and said, "Come, sit with me. You are welcome here." And in that moment, the demons vanished. Not because he defeated them, but because he no longer fed them with fear. You can do the same. Whatever thoughts arise, let them be. Whatever feelings come, let them sit. You don't have to enjoy them. You don't have to believe them. You only have to allow them. And eventually, they change. They fade. They leave. And you remain. Softer, clearer, stronger. This is the paradox of resistance. The more you let go, the more power you reclaim. The more you allow, the more peace you feel. Let that truth guide your night. If anxiety stirs, don't push it down. Whisper, "I see you." If a painful memory appears, don't shut it out. Say, "You are part of my story, but not all of it." If sleep feels far, don't chase it. Say, "I will rest in whatever this moment offers," and that rest will come. Not always in the form you expect, but in a form you need. Maybe not immediate sleep, but deep calm. Maybe not silence, but space. Maybe not answers, but understanding. You deserve that, not because you've fixed everything, but because you've stopped fighting. You've chosen peace over perfection. softness over control, presence over resistance. Let that be your practice now. Let go. Let it be. Let it dissolve. And in that letting go, return to yourself, the self that has always been here, waiting, watching, whole. Memories are clouds, not chains. They drift across the sky of your mind, changing shape, floating freely, sometimes light and glowing with warmth, sometimes dark and heavy with the threat of rain. But no matter how intense, how vivid, how emotionally charged they may be, they are not you. They are not your prison. They are not permanent. The mind often clings to the past like a vine wraps around a tree, tight, unrelenting, growing around every corner of thought. You remember what was said, what wasn't said, what happened, what should have happened. And sometimes, in the quiet of night, those memories rise like echoes in a canyon, louder than before, distorted by distance, yet somehow more convincing. But Zen teaches you to see through that illusion. What you're remembering is not the moment itself, but your mind's interpretation of it, layered by time, emotion, and the stories you've told yourself. Like clouds, memories move. You don't have to catch them. You don't have to push them away. You only need to observe. You only need to notice how they arise, how they shift, how they disappear again. A painful memory is not a life sentence. It's a visitor. Let it arrive. Let it pass. You don't need to engage in the full conversation every time. You can simply nod at it and say, "I remember," and then return to your breath. Let that breath be your anchor in the sky. Let it remind you of the present, the only moment where peace truly lives. No matter how strong a memory feels, it cannot hurt you unless you grasp it with both hands. And you've spent so much of your life grasping, trying to rewrite the past, trying to find closure where there may never be answers. But now, you are invited to do something radically different to let go. Not with bitterness, not with resentment, but with clarity, with grace, with the gentle knowing that your past does not define your rest. It does not control your ability to be here, right here, in this breath, in this bed, in this moment. Think of your mind like a wide open sky. Memories may pass through like weather, but the sky does not become the storm. It holds it, it allows it, and then it clears. You can be like that. You already are. You've already witnessed hundreds of memories rise and fall tonight, this week, this year. And yet here you are, still breathing, still listening, still alive. Let that be enough. In the teachings of Buddhism, attachment to memory is one of the deepest forms of suffering. We cling to joy from the past and try to recreate it. We cling to pain and use it to build walls. We even cling to identities formed by stories we no longer believe in. But who would you be if you loosened your grip? Who would you become if you allowed the cloud to drift without naming it, chasing it, or fearing it? Tonight, let that be your practice. When a memory comes, breathe. Let it be a shape in the sky. Watch it. Say to yourself, "Cloud, not chain," and then gently, lovingly return to now, to the rhythm of your breath, to the warmth of your body, to the safety of this room. You are not your story. You are the storyteller. You are not your past. You are the space that held it, and that space is still open, still sacred, still whole. There is room for you to rest here, even with the past behind you, even with the weight you've carried. You can set it down now. You don't need to erase it. You don't need to rewrite it. You only need to stop clutching it to your chest. Set it down like a stone at the edge of a river. Watch how the current carries it. Watch how the light begins to return. When joy-filled memories come, let them visit too. Let them warm you, then let them go. Don't cling. Even beauty can become a chain when we refuse to let it change. Love what was and release it. Bow to what is past and come back home to what remains. You are not abandoning anything. You are not forgetting anyone. You are simply choosing to be here with yourself, with your breath, with your life as it is now. That is the only place healing can happen. That is the only place peace can begin. So, lie here in the present. Let your body sink deeper into the mattress. Let your breath move like gentle wind. Let your mind open like sky. Memories may still come, but they do not define you. You are not bound. You are not trapped. You are the open sky. You are the silent watcher. You are the peace behind the clouds, and you are free. Stillness is not inactivity. It's not a void, not a lack, not a dullness. It is, in fact, the most vibrant state of all. A state full of listening, full of presence, full of aliveness that doesn't require movement to prove it exists. Think of a forest at dawn. The air is still. The trees stand unmoving. But life is everywhere in the soil, in the leaves, in the quiet breath of wind, in the subtle shift of light. Nothing is rushing. Nothing is trying to be seen. Yet everything is awake. Listen, this is the stillness we speak of in Zen. This is the stillness you are invited into now, not to sleep through, but to awaken within. Because when the outer movement slows, the inner life begins to bloom. In your stillness, you begin to notice things the noise had covered. The way your breath rises like a wave and falls like the tide. The tiny pulses in your fingertips, the quiet hum beneath your chest. These are not signs of nothingness. These are signs of awareness. Your body, when still, becomes a temple, not in grand gesture, but in sacred presence. And you within it are the keeper of that space. You tend to it with breath. You light it with awareness. You clean it with kindness. And in doing so, you begin to understand the difference between slowing down and shutting off. You are not disconnecting. You are reconnecting through stillness, through silence, through surrender. In a world that glorifies movement, rest can feel like failure. Stillness can feel like a mistake. The mind may whisper, "Shouldn't I be doing something?" But ask yourself gently, what if being here is enough? What if doing nothing is the exact medicine this moment needs? What if the wisdom of your body, the rhythm of your breath, the silence of your heart, what if they are all asking, not for more, but for less? Not for effort, but for presence. Lie here now and feel what lies beneath the urge to move. You may discover a flicker of restlessness, a ripple of impatience. That's okay. Let it be there. Don't rush past it. Don't try to erase it. Just breathe through it. Restlessness is only the surface tension. Beneath it lies something ancient, something that remembers how to be still, something in you that once long ago sat quietly and watched the sky without needing it to change. Let that part of you rise again. Let it sit at the center of your being and radiate calm. Not because you are forcing stillness, but because you are finally allowing it. The breath is your ally in this. It doesn't demand attention, but it welcomes it. Each inhale, an invitation. Each exhale, a release. You don't need to control it. Just feel it. Just follow it like a thread back to yourself. You are not idle in this moment. You are deeply alive, awake in your stillness, rooted in your breath, connected to something far older than worry, older than thought. The Buddha sat still beneath the Bodhi tree, not because he had nowhere to go, but because he knew that everything he sought was already here. And you right now are sitting beneath your own Bodhi tree, each breath a leaf, each moment a branch, each heartbeat the echo of awakening. Don't rush to get up. Don't reach for distraction. Stay, even if your mind pulls, even if your thoughts stir. Stay. Not as punishment, but as practice. The practice of being with what is. The practice of saying I am here and that is enough. In stillness, you learn to listen again. Not just to your thoughts, but to the spaces between them, to the soft voice of your own wisdom, to the hum of your own aliveness. It may speak in sensation. It may speak in silence. It may not speak at all, but it is there, and you are listening. This is not inactivity. This is communion. This is intimacy with your own existence. And from this stillness, clarity arises. Healing begins. Peace flows in, not as something you force, but as something that has been waiting for you to slow down enough to notice. Like a bird landing on an open palm. Like water settling in a quiet bowl. So settle. Trust. Let this stillness cradle you. Let it speak its quiet truths. You are not falling behind. You are not wasting time. You are returning. Returning to your body. Returning to your breath. Returning to the present. And the present does not need to be earned. It only needs to be accepted. Let this moment stretch. Let it breathe. Let it wrap itself around you like a blanket woven from silence. No pressure, no pace, just stillness, just this. And in this, everything is alive. The present doesn't ask questions. It doesn't demand explanations, doesn't press you for answers, doesn't require justification for your presence. It just is. It welcomes you without expectation. It offers itself fully without reservation and asks only one thing in return, that you show up for it. And yet, how often do we resist that invitation? How often do we slip away from the now, pulled by the gravity of what was or the anxiety of what might be? The mind conditioned by years of analysis and survival is quick to seek control through questioning. What should I be doing? What comes next? What if this moment isn't enough? But those questions only exist outside the present. They cannot live here. Because here, in this breath, in this body, in this silence, everything is already happening. Nothing is missing. Zen is the art of returning to that, over and over, with gentleness, with simplicity, with the understanding that no matter how far you've wandered in your thoughts, this moment is always ready to take you back. It doesn't punish. It doesn't tally your absences. It simply waits like the surface of a pond that reflects the moon as soon as the ripples settle. Tonight, let yourself come back to that still water. No need to explain yourself. No need to answer anything. Just arrive. Just be here. You don't have to be wise to be present. You don't have to be calm. You only have to be willing. And the more you return, the easier it becomes. Not because the questions stop forever, but because you stop needing to answer them all. You begin to see that not all questions lead to peace. Some only lead you in circles. The present moment breaks that circle. It doesn't argue. It doesn't offer escape. It simply holds you in the truth of what is. Inhale. Feel your body. Exhale. Feel the weight of your head on the pillow. Feel the quiet of the room. The rhythm of your breath. These things don't need interpretation. They are complete in themselves. You are complete in yourself. Often the discomfort we feel isn't because the moment is lacking. It's because we've layered it with judgments, with expectations, with comparisons to an imagined better moment. But when you strip all that away, when you meet the now, as it is, something extraordinary happens. You find rest. Not the sleep of avoidance, but the rest of acceptance. The deep cellular exhale of finally being allowed to stop trying. You are allowed to stop trying now. You are allowed to be here. Just you. Just as you are. There's a Zen koan that says, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Nothing changes yet. Everything changes. Because the awareness has shifted. The doing becomes being. The moment becomes alive. You don't need a revelation to find peace. You don't need a breakthrough. You need only to bring your full attention to what is already here. This breath, this sensation, this silence, they are your teachers, your companions, your sanctuary. You don't have to run anymore. The present is not chasing you. It's not scolding you. It's simply here offering its hand. Will you take it? Will you let go of the questions just for now and sink into the stillness of what's real? Let your body respond. Let your breath answer in its own quiet language. Each inhale says, I am here. Each exhale says, this is enough. Feel the truth of that in your chest, in your belly, in the spaces behind your eyes. The now does not ask for your resume. It does not want your past. It does not require your future. It only wants your attention. And in giving it, that you begin to dissolve into something wider, something softer. The separation between you and the world begins to fade. The illusion of being behind begins to lift. The pressure to become begins to loosen. You begin to remember that you've always been part of something larger than thought. that you are not outside of life trying to keep up. You are life. You are breath. You are presence. And presence is not measured by answers. It is felt. It is lived. Right now, it is holding you. Let yourself be held. Let the blankets cradle your body. Let your breath be the only thing you follow. No plans, no performance. Just this. The present doesn't ask questions. It only invites you to stop answering ones that don't matter. And in that pause, you find a different kind of clarity. A clarity not made of words, but of peace. A knowing that cannot be spoken, only experienced. So experience it now. Let go of the day. Let go of tomorrow. Let go of needing to know anything. And feel the gentle stillness of now wrapping itself around you like nightfall. You are already here. You don't have to do more. Just breathe. Just be. That is more than enough. Karma is movement, not punishment. It is the quiet unfolding of cause and effect, the ripple that travels outward from every thought, every action, every intention. But it is not a sentence, not a cosmic form of retribution. It is the language of the universe teaching you about balance. And once you begin to see karma this way, you stop fearing it. You stop seeing it as something chasing you. Instead, you begin to listen to it. You begin to feel it. You begin to live inside it with awareness and compassion. Just as wind moves across water, your actions move across time. What you do, what you think, what you choose in every moment, these are the seeds. Some grow into suffering. Some grow into peace. But the lesson is never in the reward or the punishment. It is in the awareness. When you pay attention to the ripple, you learn how to move in alignment, how to step lightly, how to respond instead of react, and how to choose peace, not out of obligation, but out of clarity. Karma is not always immediate. Sometimes the ripple circles back years later. A forgotten word, a choice you didn't even notice at the time. That's why presence matters. Because presence is how you plant your life with care. It's how you listen to the consequences before they even arrive. Tonight, as you lie still and breathe, you are not escaping your karma. You are not running from your life. You are witnessing it unfold with new eyes. You are resting in the movement of it all without needing to control the direction. Because the beauty of karma is that it is not fixed. It responds. It evolves. And your awareness is the turning point. Every breath you take with mindfulness is a new seed. Every moment you meet with compassion is a change in the soil. You can rewrite your future, not by rewriting your past, but by living this moment differently. That's all it takes. A return to presence. A return to kindness. A return to truth. If there is pain in your past, let it be your teacher. Let it show you where you once turned away from yourself. Let it show you what you can now choose to turn toward. Not with guilt, not with shame, but with understanding. Karma doesn't hold a grudge. It holds a mirror. And when you finally look into that mirror with honesty, what you see is not judgment. You see opportunity. You see a path. You see a chance to walk more softly, to speak more gently, to live more consciously. Even now, as you breathe, you are changing your karma. Not through effort, but through awareness, through softness, through your willingness to be here with all of it, the joy, the regret, the questions, the stillness. All of it is included in your unfolding. All of it is the movement of your life towards something deeper, something freer. Let that movement carry you, not as a river rushing, but as a wind circling a mountain. Steady, quiet, sure. Let go of the idea that you must pay for the past. You are not here to suffer. You are here to awaken. And karma is not here to trap you. It is here to guide you toward the truth of who you are when you're no longer acting from fear. Let your breath be the pulse of that guidance. Let your body rest in the flow of it. No resistance, no running, just being carried. In the ancient teachings, karma was never about external punishment. It was always internal learning. The mind that acts in anger creates more anger. The heart that speaks in love creates more love. Not because someone is rewarding or punishing, but because energy meets itself. Vibration finds its twin. And when you begin to tune yourself to peace, peace finds you more often. When you breathe with love, love arrives more gently. Even in conflict, even in silence, even in waiting. You are tuning your life with every small action. Every thought has weight. Every word has consequence. But that does not mean you must fear them. It means you must honor them. And tonight, your honoring begins with rest, with the choice to stop spinning the wheel of old karma and simply observe, with the courage to be still, even as the mind offers memories, with the wisdom to say, I am here. I am learning. I am open. You don't have to undo everything. You don't have to perfect the self. You only have to be sincere. Karma moves with sincerity. Karma responds to intention. Let your intention tonight be ease. Let it be peace. Let it be the simple truth that you are ready to breathe softer, live, gentler, sleep deeper. You are ready to walk forward without dragging the weight of what was. Because you are not that weight. You are the one who is ready to put it down. Lay it down now. Let the breath carry it. Let the night dissolve it. You are not running. You are resting. And rest is not inaction. It is sacred realignment. It is choosing to step out of cycles that no longer serve you. It is choosing to return to your center. This is karma in motion awareness. Surrender. Beginning again, and again, and again. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be here. You are. Kindness is the ground beneath you. It is not an idea or a virtue to reach for. It is the very foundation of your being. You were born from it. You've been carried by it in ways you may never see, and it waits beneath every layer of self-doubt, every wall of self-protection, every shadow of past regret. The mistake we often make is assuming kindness is something external, that it must be earned, found in others, proven through good behavior. But in the teachings of Zen, kindness begins as an internal soil, rich and fertile, from which every other quality of awakening may grow. Without it, even wisdom turns sharp. Even mindfulness turns rigid. But with it, everything softens. Everything blooms. Tonight, let yourself rest on that ground. Let go of the need to be good enough to make sense of everything to prove you are worthy of peace. You already are, because you exist, because you breathe, because there is no version of you that has ever been separate from the path of gentleness. The way may have been hard. You may have been harsh with yourself. Life may have taught you to be guarded, critical, always pushing. But underneath all that is a tenderness that never left you. A quiet voice that says you're allowed to rest now. You don't have to carry all of this. Kindness does not shout. It does not demand your attention. It sits beside you like an old friend, patiently waiting for you to remember its presence. And when you turn toward it, even just a little, it welcomes you without condition. That's the kind of kindness you're being asked to offer yourself now. The kind that does not require forgiveness first. The kind that does not hinge on having said the right things or made the right choices. The kind that wraps around the tired body and the overthinking mind and says, you are still worthy. You may think that to grow, you must be hard on yourself. That discipline comes from judgment. That improvement means constant effort. But growth in Zen comes from softness, not strain. The seed does not push against itself to bloom. It trusts the ground beneath it. It trusts the water, the light, the silence. Can you trust in the same way? Can you let kindness become your soil tonight? Not to fix you, but to hold you. Not to push you, but to cradle you. Think of someone you once loved unconditionally. Perhaps a grandparent, a dear friend, even a pet. Someone who looked at you and saw past all the noise straight into your essence. That look, that feeling, that is the reflection of your true nature. That is what kindness sees. And you don't have to wait for another person to offer it. You can offer it to yourself. You can become the quiet guardian of your own heart. Each breath can be a gesture of gentleness. Each exhale, a letting go of old cruelty, of internal scolding, of impossible standards. Lie here now and feel the ground beneath you. Not just the bed, not just the earth, but the invisible ground of your own self-compassion. Let it rise up to meet you. Let it say, you are held, you are enough, you are forgiven. Even if you don't yet believe it, even if doubt still whispers, continue to rest as if it were true, because that is how healing begins. That is how karma shifts. That is how the nervous system finally relaxes and the breath deepens. By choosing kindness not as a reward, but as a return. Return to yourself. Return to this moment. Return to the simple act of placing a hand over your heart and saying you are safe with me. In Zen, kindness is often quiet. It shows up not in dramatic gestures, but in simple awareness. In noticing when you're pushing too hard. In pausing before the next wave of self-judgment. In breathing before you respond to your own inner critic. That too is practice. That too is enlightenment. You don't need robes or temples to live it. You only need this moment and the willingness to soften. So soften now. In your jaw, in your shoulders, in your belly. Soften around the pain, around the memory, around the doubt. Let it all be here, and let kindness wrap around it like warm cloth. Nothing to resist, nothing to fix, Just kindness as your resting place, as your permission to stop, as the quiet truth that you've never needed to be perfect, only present. You may begin to feel a shift, not sudden, not loud, just the gentle warmth of your own presence becoming more tender. That is not weakness. That is power. The kind of power that endures. The kind that stays when everything else falls away. Let it stay. Let it carry you into sleep like a river of soft light. No judgments, no checklists, no waiting. Just the ground of kindness beneath you and the stars of peace above. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not too much or not enough. You are here, and you are loved. Start with that. End with that. Let it echo through your breath. Let it become the rhythm of your dreams. Let kindness be your ground again and again and again. Even suffering has a rhythm. It doesn't feel that way when you're inside it. When pain grips your chest and thoughts circle like crows, it seems endless, heavy, chaotic. But beneath its surface, suffering moves like everything else. It has a beginning, a middle, and yes, a completion. No wave rises forever. No storm holds the sky without end. But when you believe your pain is permanent, you fight it. You panic. You reach for anything to numb it or push it away. And in that resistance, the suffering deepens, hardens, expands. In Zen, we are taught to sit with suffering, not to glorify it, not to wallow in it, but to see its true nature movement, rhythm, impermanence. You're invited now to feel the rhythm of your own experience, not just the pleasure, not just the ease, but the ache as well. Feel its texture, its timing. Notice how it rises, how it peaks, how it begins to loosen if given breath, if given space, if given attention, without judgment. When a child cries, they do not need to be reasoned with. They need to be held. The same is true for the parts of you that hurt. They don't need to be silenced or solved. They need your presence, your breath, your open arms. Let that presence rise in you now, not with words, not with analysis, just with being. Feel where the suffering lives in your body. Maybe it's in your chest like a tight knot. Maybe in your throat like a blocked river. Maybe behind your eyes a pressure of uncried tears. Go there, not to fix it, just to feel it. You might be afraid that feeling it will make it worse, but the opposite is true. When you stop running, the pain stops chasing. When you stop pushing, the pressure lessens. When you stop demanding answers, silence begins to speak. That silence carries the rhythm of your suffering. A rhythm that has been building, cresting. And if you let it, will begin to fall. Just as waves rise and fall, so too does pain. Just as breath comes and goes, so too do emotions. But unlike breath, suffering often feels personal. It feels like something has gone wrong, like you are broken. But this is the great misunderstanding. Pain is not failure. It is communication. It is a message from your inner world, a signal that something needs to be seen, heard, held, not punished, not denied, held. So hold it now, with your breath, with your awareness, with the kindness we spoke of before. And as you hold it, listen for its rhythm. Where does it tighten? Where does it release? What happens if you breathe into that space, not with control, but with softness? What happens if you let it speak without interrupting? Not all suffering comes with words. Some comes with images. Some comes with sensation. Some comes with silence. All are valid. All are welcome here. Even the part of you that wants to run. Even the voice that says, I can't handle this. You can. You are. Not because you're forcing your way through it, but because you're allowing it to pass through you. That's the rhythm. Let the breath become your guide again. Inhale and welcome what is. Exhale and allow it to move. No pushing, no pulling, just flow, just rhythm, just surrender. In the teachings of Zen, suffering is not the enemy, it's the path. A narrow one, yes, a painful one at times, but always leading inward, always revealing what is most tender, most true. You don't walk this path forever, but you must walk it when it calls. And tonight, as you lie in stillness, you are not avoiding life. You are meeting it. You are meeting your body, your breath, your ache. And in that meeting, you begin to see the cycle for what it is, a wave. Not a wall, not a trap, just a wave. You have ridden countless waves already. Think of them. The sorrow that once felt unending, but now lives only as a distant shape in your memory. The heartbreak that once broke you open, but also made you wiser, more real. The confusion that eventually cleared. Every one of those waves passed. This one will too. You don't have to rush it. You don't have to measure it. You don't have to make it smaller. Just feel it. Just allow it. And when it begins to fall away, don't chase it. Don't question it. Let it go. Let it dissolve into the silence it came from. Let the breath carry it out like the tide drawing back from the shore. Inhale, exhale, rise, fall, begin, end. This is not just the rhythm of suffering. It is the rhythm of all life. When you begin to trust that you stop fearing your pain, you stop believing that discomfort means something is wrong, and you start believing that your body knows how to heal, that your spirit knows how to hold space, that your breath knows how to carry you through. In time, you may even come to thank your suffering, not for hurting you, but for softening you, for breaking the shell of resistance, for bringing you back to what matters. The truth is, suffering can strip away illusion. It can show you what you truly value, who you truly are when there's nothing left to protect. That clarity, that rawness, that quiet presence, that's where freedom lives. Not beyond the pain, but on the other side of meeting it fully. You are doing that now, just by being here, just by listening, just by breathing with what hurts instead of running from it. That's courage. That's wisdom. That's healing. Let the suffering move. Let the breath rise. Let the body rest. You don't have to do more than this. In fact, you must not. This stillness is enough. This rhythm is enough. You are enough, even now, especially now. Sleep may come. It may not. Peace may be near. It may still be on its way. But either way, you are held. You are witnessed. You are in rhythm with the greater truth that all things move, all things pass. And even suffering, when embraced gently, will teach you how to return. Let go of the raft. You've carried it for so long. You built it out of necessity, out of fear, out of habit. Piece by piece, beliefs, roles, stories, defenses, you tied them together to stay afloat, and it worked. For a time, it carried you through rivers you thought you'd drown in. It helped you cross the unknown. It kept you above water when everything else felt too deep. But now, you're no longer in that river. You're no longer battling the same currents. The shore is beneath your feet, solid and quiet and still. You're clutching the raft, still dragging it behind you, still identifying with it, still afraid to leave it behind. In the teachings of the Buddha, there is a story of a man who crosses a river on a carefully crafted raft. Once he reaches the other side, he considers carrying the raft on his back, thinking, "This helped me so much, it must continue to serve me." But the Buddha says, wouldn't it be wiser to set it down? There are things in your life you built to survive: a hardened heart, a perfectionist mind, an identity wrapped in productivity, a refusal to rest. These were rafts, useful in their time, holy even for the way they saved you. But now they're heavy. Now they're in the way, and you don't need them anymore. Let that truth rise not as a judgment, but as a gentle invitation. You are allowed to stop performing. You are allowed to stop being the strong one. You are allowed to stop fixing everything before you sleep. The raft did its job. You honored it. You made it. You survived. But the work now is different. The work is letting go. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean denying your past. It means thanking what carried you and setting it down with love, with reverence, with full awareness that you are no longer in the same river. Tonight, as you lie still, you may feel those old strategies stirring. The mind wants to plan to replay, to calculate what you should have done or what may come. That's your raft. The part of you that thinks if it doesn't hold on tightly, everything will fall apart. But here's the secret: things may fall apart, and you will still be okay. You are not being asked to float anymore. You are being asked to stand, to breathe, to be held by the ground beneath you. When you stop gripping the raft, your hands are free to touch the earth again, to hold your own heart, to rest. Let that rest begin now, not in spite of your old ways, but because you finally see them clearly. See the beliefs that once said you were only valuable if you were useful. See the thought that insisted you had to carry everyone else's weight. See the quiet fear that whispered, "If I stop, I'll disappear." These thoughts are echoes. They are not facts. They are wood and rope from the raft. You can put them down, breath by breath. No rush, no judgment, just release. Inhale. I see you. Exhale, I let you be. Inhale, I survived. Exhale, I choose peace. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. The wisdom to know that clinging is no longer needed. The wisdom to feel the difference between vigilance and presence. The wisdom to realize that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is rest. In Zen, the letting go is not violent. It is soft. It is gentle. It is like a leaf drifting from a tree, not because it's forced, but because the season has changed. Feel that season within you now. Not the season of fighting, not the season of striving, the season of stillness, of shedding, of quiet release. You don't have to do it all tonight. Just start. Just set down one thought, one pattern, one tight grip. Say to yourself, I don't need this anymore. Not as rejection, but as evolution, as truth. Let your breath be the witness to this shift. Feel how the body responds when the mind stops bracing. Shoulders soften, jaw unclenches, the back releases, and the breath goes deeper. The more you let go, the more space you create. Space for rest, for healing, for dreams you never had time to hold before. Space for silence that doesn't scare you, for simplicity that doesn't bore you, for peace that doesn't have to be earned. And when fear returns, and it will, you don't need to fight it. Just notice it. It's an old voice from the river. It doesn't know you're on solid ground now. Thank it for its concern. Then place it beside the raft. Another thing you don't need to carry anymore. The shore you're standing on is made of presence, made of breath, made of moments like this where nothing is required except being here. The wind stills, the body sighs, the heart begins to trust its own rhythm. And you begin to rest not just in body, but in soul. Let go of the raft. Let go of the story that you only matter when you're useful. Let go of the urgency that drove you. Let go of the perfectionism that exhausted you. You were never the raft. You were always the river, always the witness, always the presence behind the current, the part that never needed to prove itself. Feel that presence now, alive in your breath, quiet in your mind, deep in your bones. You don't have to be saved. You're already safe. You don't have to find peace. You're already home. The raft got you here, but this is where you lay it down and walk barefoot into your own stillness, into your own life, into the deep, spacious night that welcomes you not for what you do, but for who you are. Who is aware of awareness? Sit with that for a moment. Not as a riddle to be solved, but as a doorway to be entered. Who is it right now, noticing the breath? Who is it right now, watching the thoughts drift across the mind like clouds across a moonlit sky? There is breath. Yes. There are thoughts. Yes. But there is also something deeper, something quieter, something that sees it all without speaking, without judging, without needing to interfere. That is awareness. And yet even that can be observed. There is a presence behind presence, a stillness behind stillness. And in Zen, we are gently led to rest there, not to define it, not to name it, but to experience it, not through thinking, but through being. As you lie here now, in the hush of night, with the weight of your body sinking into the bed and the rhythm of your breath soft and steady, allow this question to settle into you, not as effort, but as invitation. Who is it that is aware? Not just of the breath, not just of the thoughts, but of the one watching. You might notice the mind trying to answer. It may say, "It's me." It may search for language, for form, for something to grasp. Let it try. Then let that go too. Every answer is still a thought. And what we're speaking of here is beyond thought. It is the silent knowing. the wordless being, the spaciousness that remains even when the mind is still, even when sleep comes, even when everything you think you are fades into dreams. That awareness remains, always. It's the same presence that was there when you were a child, gazing up at the ceiling in wonder. The same presence that has been behind every joy, every sorrow, every breath. It does not age. It does not judge. It does not come and go. It is the one constant in a world of change, and you are not separate from it. You are it, not the roles you play, not the thoughts you think, not the stories you tell. But this awareness, this is your true home. In the deepest practices of Zen, the goal is not to add anything. It is not to become enlightened in the way the world uses that word. It is to return, to peel away every identity, every mask, every grasping, until only this remains. The quiet watcher, the still presence, the mirror that reflects but does not hold. Right now, let that mirror be clear. Let every thought pass across its surface without sticking. Let every emotion rise and fall like wind through an open field. Let every tension in your body soften under the light of this gentle witnessing. You don't have to do anything. Awareness is already here. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to chase it. You only have to stop turning away from it. And even when you forget, even when thoughts carry you far, even when sleep eludes you, awareness never leaves. It's there when you're anxious. It's there when you're afraid. It's there when you're dreaming. Always watching, always present, always still. That is who you truly are. The one who sees, not the one who struggles. The space in which life unfolds, not the noise that life creates. When you rest in that space, peace becomes natural. Not forced, not fabricated, natural. Because peace is your original nature. Stillness is your original nature. Awareness is not something you find. It's what remains when everything else is quiet. It's what rises when striving ends. Right now, breathe with that. Breathe with the part of you that doesn't need to be convinced that already knows. Breathe with the part of you that's never left. Each inhale, a return. Each exhale, a letting go. Thoughts may still appear. That's okay. You are not trying to stop them. You are simply no longer confusing yourself with them. You are no longer getting caught in their web. You see them. You thank them. You let them pass. Like waves, like shadows, like dreams. Who is it that sees them pass? So that's you. Not the story you carry, not the voice in your head, but the you that watches. The you that is silent, spacious, grounded. In Zen, we often ask this question not to get an answer, but to keep the door open. Who am I? Not what do I do, or what have I achieved, or how do others see me, but simply who is here. And as that question echoes, everything false begins to fall away, until only presence remains. Right now, in this moment, you are resting, not just in your body, but in your being. Not just on the bed, but in awareness itself. Let that awareness spread. Let it hold your breath, your body, your mind. Let it dissolve the walls between you and the world, between you and peace, between you and yourself. Nothing else is needed. Nothing else will ever be more real than this. You are not the noise. You are the one listening. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. You are not the passing thought. You are the sky it moves through. And this is what you've always been. Welcome home. There's no rush in awakening. The path isn't a race, and the destination is not marked by a finish line or fanfare. It's not something you arrive at with fireworks or flashing signs. It's something that quietly unfolds inside you like the slow bloom of a lotus untouched by time. Zen doesn't hurry. It doesn't demand progress measured in milestones. It invites presence, breath by breath, moment by moment as you are. The world may have taught you to rush to compete, to always reach for the next thing, to earn rest, to chase peace, to prove your worth through movement. But the truth is, awakening happens in the pause, in the silence, in the softness of now. And you are allowed to go slowly. In fact, you must. The soul does not respond to urgency. It opens in stillness. It trusts in slowness. Just as seeds break open underground before they ever touch light, your inner world requires darkness and quiet to unfold. There is no need to pressure yourself into healing, into peace, into clarity. These things arrive not when you force them, but when you stop forcing everything else. Let this be the moment you release the tight grip of expectation. You don't have to awaken all at once. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to transcend. You only have to be with what is gently, lovingly, patiently. Like the morning mist lifting slowly off the lake, the truth will reveal itself. You don't need to chase it. Sit now in the truth of your breath. It comes slowly, naturally. It doesn't rush to fill you. It arrives at its own pace, carrying what you need without effort. That's what awakening feels like. Not an explosion, but an unfolding. Not a destination, but a return, a remembering of who you were before the world told you to be fast, to be loud, to be more. There's a Zen story about a student who asked the master, "How long will it take me to awaken if I study diligently every day?" The master replied, 10 years. The student then asked, "And if I work even harder, meditate day and night?" The master smiled, "Then 20 years. The lesson is not about effort. It's about surrender. Awakening comes when you stop chasing it, when you stop measuring your worth by how far along you think you are. There's no scoreboard, there's no ladder, only this moment and your willingness to enter it completely, with your breath, with your body, with your heart. Let go of the calendar in your mind. Let go of the timeline. Trust that you are not late, that your path is yours alone, that each moment of stillness brings you closer to the home you never truly left. And even in sleep, even in deep rest, awakening continues, not through thought, but through release, through trust, through the quiet work the spirit does when the mind finally lets go. Tonight, as your body lies in this sacred pause between doing and dreaming, know that the slow work is being done. You are healing in ways that cannot be seen. You are awakening in layers that language cannot reach. Each breath is brushing the dust off your heart. Each exhale is softening the edges of old stories. You don't have to make this happen. You only have to allow it. Let go of trying to do it right. Let go of wondering if you're spiritual enough. There's no need for performance here. Awakening doesn't care about appearances. It cares only for sincerity, for presence, for love. And you are loving yourself by choosing to be here now. You are returning to yourself by listening, by breathing, by resting. Some nights, it may feel like nothing is happening. You lie still. You breathe. And the mind says, "This is pointless." But nothing could be further from the truth. What appears still on the surface often holds the deepest movement underneath, like roots expanding in the soil, like stars forming in the silence of space. Awakening doesn't always feel like a sunrise. Sometimes it feels like darkness getting softer, like silence growing deeper, like pain loosening its grip. That is enough. That is sacred. That is awakening. You are in no rush. You have nowhere else to be but here. This moment is your teacher. Your breath is your guide. Your body is your temple. Let them do what they are meant to do, hold you, teach you, return you. You are not separate from your awakening. You are not chasing it. You are it. You are the slow unfurling. You are the gentle light. You are the space between thoughts where truth lives. Rest in that. You are not asleep to your life. You are softening into it. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are here. And here is enough. Always. Let the rush dissolve. Let the pace drop away. Let yourself open slowly, patiently, fully. You are blooming even now. Especially now. You are the mirror, not the dust. And yet, for much of life, you may have mistaken the dust for who you are. The swirling of thoughts, the sting of regret, the heaviness of judgment. These layers build up slowly over time, settling in the silence like particles of self-doubt. You don't notice it all at once. It arrives gradually, through voices, your own and others, telling you what you must be, what you failed to be, what you'll never become. And as it accumulates, the surface beneath becomes harder to see. You begin to think the dust is the reflection, that the smudges are the self, but the mirror has always been there, untouched, untarnished, waiting. This is the sacred truth Zen points us toward, not that we must become someone else, but that we must remember who we are beneath the forgetting. You are not the accumulation. You are not the noise. You are not the distortion caused by fear. You are awareness. You are clarity. You are the stillness that reflects everything, yet clings to nothing. Even now, as you lie here in the quiet dark, you might feel remnants of that dust clinging, old worries, tired stories, subtle resistance. That's okay. Don't rush to wipe them away. Just notice. Just be present. Awareness itself begins to clear what it sees without judgment. When you observe a thought gently, it starts to dissolve. When you watch fear without adding story, it begins to fade. The mirror does not need to be polished with force. It needs only light. It needs only stillness. And you are offering that now. Each breath is a soft cloth across the surface of your being. Each exhale lifts away what no longer belongs, not by rejection, but by inclusion. In Zen, we say that everything belongs, even the fear, even the shame, even the doubt. They are not the enemy. They are simply passing shadows dancing across your awareness like clouds across moonlight. They don't need to be conquered, just seen, just held, just allowed to pass. Because the more clearly you see them, the more you remember, I am not this. I am the mirror. I am the sky. I am the open field where all things rise and fall. And this knowing is not intellectual. It is not found in words. It is felt in the breath, in the body, in the silence between thoughts. Let yourself feel it now, not as a concept, but as an experience. Let the breath remind you. Inhale space. Exhale clarity. Inhale presence. Exhale return. You don't have to fix yourself tonight. You don't have to heal everything. You only have to rest in what's already true, that underneath the dust, you are whole. You are already what you've been seeking. There is nothing broken. There is nothing missing, only forgetting. And even that forgetting is part of the path. Even that is allowed. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real, present, awake. And being awake doesn't mean never feeling lost. It means knowing, even in the confusion, that you are the witness, not the chaos. You are the space, not the storm. As the body softens into the night, let this remembering deepen. Let the breath move freely. Let the mind quiet itself, not through force, but through being heard. When you stop fighting your thoughts, they settle. When you stop pushing against discomfort, it shifts. The mirror reveals itself when it is no longer being used as a shield. Let go of using your mind to defend yourself. Let go of using your identity to hide. Let go of needing to be anyone other than the presence that is already awake within you. In this stillness, in this breath, you are already enough. You are already free. You don't need to get there. You are there. You always were. The dust may return. Life has a way of stirring it up, but now you know what to do. You return to awareness. You return to breath. You return to that place inside that simply watches, that loves without needing reason, that exists without needing validation, that reflects the world without becoming it. The mirror never clings to the reflection, and neither do you. Thoughts will come. Emotions will move through, but you remain. That is your power. That is your peace. In the light of this truth, you can finally rest. You can finally stop trying to earn what was always yours. You don't need to convince yourself of your worth. You don't need to prove your place in the world. You are already held, already welcomed, already known. Let the night remind you of this. Let the stars be your witness. Let the silence say your name in a way that no noise ever could. You are the mirror, not what it reflects. You are the sky, not what moves through it. You are the stillness, not the storm. And in this stillness, may you sleep, may you heal, may you remember. The ocean doesn't fear the storm. It doesn't resist. The wind doesn't tighten against the rain, doesn't flinch when the sky collapses into thunder. It holds space for the storm to pass through it, knowing that underneath the crashing waves, it remains whole, still, deep, unmoved. You too carry that depth within you. Beneath the surface of thought and feeling, beneath the tides of anxiety and memory, there is a silence in you, as vast as the sea. And though your life has known storms days, when your mind thrashed nights, when grief pounded against your chest, none of those storms have destroyed you. They've churned the surface, yes. They've stirred the depths, yes. But the ocean of you remains. That's the truth Zen returns to again and again. Your essence is not what moves. It's what holds the movement. Your identity is not what changes. It's what allows change to happen. Beneath your roles, beneath your stories, beneath your fears, there is space. Presence. Vast and ancient and alive. You are not the waves. You are the water. You are not the weather. You are the sky it passes through. And once you begin to sense that you no longer need to fear the storm, you begin to trust it. Not because it feels good, but because you no longer mistake it for who you are. Tonight, let this truth settle in your body. Feel your own stillness beneath the movement. Feel the breath as it flows in and out like tides washing the shore. You are not trying to silence the mind. You are simply sitting at the bottom of your own ocean, watching the surface from below. The storm can rage, but you do not need to rise into it. You can remain grounded, aware, anchored in being. When you feel overwhelmed, remember you are not in danger. You are in depth. Let that shift your attention. Let it change your posture. Let it widen your sense of who you are. The mind will want to react. That's what it's trained to do. It wants to protect, to solve, to escape. That's okay. Let it offer its stories. Let the waves rise, but remain where you are, watching, breathing, feeling the gravity of stillness pull you gently back down. In Zen practice, we learn to bow to the storm, not because we enjoy it, but because we respect it. We know it has something to teach, not through answers, but through experience. The storm strips away what is unnecessary. It washes over illusions. It brings you into contact with what is essential. Sometimes that means feeling pain. Sometimes it means remembering loss. Sometimes it means sitting with fear that you've avoided for years. But even that fear, when seen clearly, begins to lose its sharpness. Even that ache, when allowed to move through the body without resistance, begins to soften. And beneath it all, the ocean remains. Unchanged, deep, aware. Let that ocean rise in your awareness now. Imagine it filling your chest, your belly, your limbs, not in heaviness, but in grounding, in vastness, in wisdom. Let your breath follow its rhythm. Inhale, rising tide. Exhale, falling tide. Let each wave of thought come and go. No judgment. No need to chase it. No need to stop it. Just be with it. Just breathe. Just stay. This is not about control. It's about surrender. Not to the storm, but to the self that watches. the self that cannot be destroyed. When panic comes, remember it is surface. When regret speaks, remember it is echo. When fear grips, remember it is wind. You are the ocean. You are the silence beneath it all. This silence is not empty. It is full of presence, full of power, full of the strength that comes from knowing you can feel everything and still remain whole. That's true courage, not avoidance, not denial, but presence. A presence so stable that even the fiercest storm cannot shake it. Let that be your rest tonight, not in escaping emotion, but in resting below it, not in silencing thought, but in watching it pass. The storm may come, it may return tomorrow, it may howl for a while longer, but it cannot reach the depth of you. It never could. In that knowing, sleep becomes easier, not because everything is calm, but because you no longer need it to be. You've stopped asking the world to quiet down. You've begun to quiet within yourself, and that quiet is unshakable. That quiet is your truest home. In the stillness of the ocean, you do not disappear. You expand. You begin to feel the truth of your being beyond all thought, beyond all fear. You begin to sense that you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. All of it held in your breath, in your silence, in the space behind your eyes. So let go of the need to brace. Let go of the habit of tensing. Let go of the story that says you must wait for the storm to end before you can rest. Rest now, while it moves, while it stirs, while it passes, and it will pass. All storms do. That's the truth written into the waves themselves, into the breath itself. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fall. All things move. All things shift. All things change. And still you remain. Not untouched, but not undone. Let that be enough. Let that be more than enough. Let that be your anchor in the night. Nothing is missing right now. That's not what your mind has been trained to believe. It's been conditioned to seek to fix, to scan the horizon for what could be better, fuller, safer. But right now, this exact moment, this quiet breath, this soft bed beneath you, nothing is missing. It may not feel like it. The mind may be whispering that there's something you should have done today, something unresolved, something unfinished. But all of that belongs to a world outside this breath. The moment you're in doesn't require anything from you. It doesn't demand that you be more relaxed, more healed, more insightful. It only invites you to be exactly what you are, breathing, here, alive, enough. In Zen, we speak often of suchness, the way things are before we cover them with labels or expectations, the way the sky simply is, the way a leaf rests on a stone, the way your breath enters and leaves your body without instruction. That suchness is not waiting to be improved. It is already whole, just like you. Tonight, can you touch that space where everything already is what it's supposed to be? Not because it's perfect, in the way the world defines it, but because it's real, because it's honest, because it's yours. You don't need to go searching. You don't need to build anything. You only need to look around within your body, within this moment, and see what's already here. The warmth of the blanket, the silence holding the room, the breath rising in your belly, the steady beat of your heart. All of it is enough. All of it is life in its most raw and sacred form. The practice is not about escaping or transcending this. It's about falling into it, trusting that it holds you, trusting that it's not incomplete, even if the story in your mind says otherwise. What would it feel like to rest in that truth, to stop reaching just for now, to let yourself be gathered by the arms of this moment without needing to adjust it? Feel into that. Let the body settle a little more. Let the spine drop into the mattress. Let the eyes close without pressure. Let the breath arrive and depart like waves on a shore that's seen every kind of weather and yet still remains. You may be tempted to think of what's missing a person, a resolution, a future that hasn't arrived. That's okay. The mind has habits like wind tracing old paths through grass. But you don't have to follow those trails. Not tonight. Let the mind move. Let the thoughts speak. And then let them fade. Return to what is here. The ground of your being. The quiet pulse of now. In Buddhist teachings, there is the idea of tathata suchness, thisness, the reality of things just as they are, not polished, not dramatic, not made impressive for anyone else. Just here, like water in your hands, like the breath in your lungs. And if you stay long enough in that space, you begin to feel a strange kind of joy. Not the joy of excitement, but the joy of enoughness. The joy of having nothing to chase. Of remembering that what you are is not a project to complete. You are not a task. You are not a problem. You are not missing anything. Every part of you has brought you to this moment. Every scar, every smile, every breath. And this moment holds all of it with perfect balance. Can you feel that now? The gentle weight of presence. The way silence wraps around you, not with emptiness, but with fullness. The way the body, even when tired, knows how to soften into rest without being told how. That's the truth you've been circling all along. That nothing was missing. That there's nothing wrong with pausing. That there's nothing broken about breathing. Even the thoughts that say otherwise, they're part of the whole. You don't need to argue with them. You don't need to correct them. Just let them float like clouds across the wide blue sky of your awareness. Let them pass. Let them go. And then return to the sound of your breath, to the feeling of your body lying down, to the slow pulse of your own enoughness. You may feel a wave of emotion rise. You may feel a grief for the years spent chasing, a sorrow for the moments missed while searching. That's okay too. Let the tears come. Let the tenderness in. That's the heart realizing it no longer has to fight. That's the body learning to belong to itself again. You don't have to run anymore. You don't have to strive. You don't have to carry the weight of someday on your back tonight. Rest in the truth of now. Rest in the soft miracle that this breath, this exact breath is enough. You are enough. Not in some distant perfected future. Now. Here. In this exact skin. In this exact night. That doesn't mean life won't keep changing. That doesn't mean growth won't come. But it does mean you don't have to withhold peace until some other version of yourself arrives. You are already worthy of it. You've always been. The trees don't wait to bloom until they've proven their purpose. The moon doesn't apologize for its darkness. And you, precious being, don't have to wait another moment to be whole. Nothing is missing. You have always been here. Welcome back. Sleep is the final bow to life. Not a retreat, not a failure to endure the day, but a sacred act of surrender. A gesture that says, I trust. Trust in what? In life to continue without your constant supervision. In your body to carry on breathing without effort. In the world to keep turning, even while your eyes are closed. Most of all, sleep is a profound trust in yourself, an agreement that you've done enough, that you are enough, and that the moment no longer needs your effort. Zen teaches us that rest is not what happens after all things are complete, but what allows the wholeness to appear. In truth, there's nothing that was ever incomplete to begin with. The unfinished to-do list, the unsaid words, the uncertain future, these were never the measures of your being. They are clouds passing through the evening sky, but you are the space that holds the sky. Sleep, then, is not a rejection of wakefulness. It is its complement, the yin to the yang of daily movement. It is where awareness does not vanish, but becomes diffused, subtle, flowing inward. It is the whisper of the soul, returning to itself after a long day of performing, enduring, and navigating. Let yourself bow to this sleep now, not in defeat, but in reverence. Not as something to escape into, but as something to fully receive. You are not collapsing, you are arriving. Just as a monk bows before entering the zendo, you too bow before entering the temple of night. Every part of your body prepares to return to the still waters of silence. And in this silence, the teachings continue, not in words, but in sensations, not in thoughts, but in dreams. Let go of the narrative that says you must remain vigilant, that nothing will be okay unless you remain awake. You are allowed to release. You are allowed to drift. Even the Buddha slept. Even the great teachers laid their heads down in peace, knowing that effort alone is not the path. Surrender is part of the path too. And sleep, when entered consciously, lovingly, is one of the most sacred forms of surrender. As you inhale, now, feel the body say yes. As you exhale, feel it say thank you. Let the breath be the prayer that opens the gates of night. A prayer not for answers, but for stillness. Not for achievement, but for trust. Every breath becomes a verse in that silent chant. Let it carry you. Let it rock you. No thoughts need to be resolved. No memories need to be sorted. The mind may try, out of habit, to do one last sweep and attempt to make sense of the day, to wrap it in conclusions. Smile gently at this. Then remind yourself there is no need. Let the day be incomplete. Let the questions remain unanswered. Sleep is not the closing of a book. It is the turning of a page into softness, into forgetting, into mystery. And it is in mystery that the soul restores itself. In sleep, the muscles release stories they've carried. The heart slows and speaks in a different language. The body reclaims its rhythm, free from performance. You don't have to watch over this. It will happen. It always does. Trust the rhythm. Trust the dark. Trust the letting go. And know that this letting go is not the same as giving up. It is giving over your weight to gravity, giving over your breath to time, giving over yourself to the vast embrace of what simply is. There is a Zen saying, when you walk, just walk. When you sit, just sit. And so tonight, we say, when you sleep, just sleep. No reaching, no analysis. Just trust. Just breathe. Just be. You may feel the pull of the mind again. It wants to hold on. It wants to think through tomorrow. It wants to revisit yesterday. But here, in the sanctuary of night, you can gently bow to the mind and say, not now. You've done enough. Speak to yourself as you would to a beloved child who's tired, who's clinging to wakefulness only out of habit. It's okay to rest. Everything will be here in the morning. But right now, all that matters is this moment, this breath, this bed, this stillness. You have nothing to prove to sleep. You don't need to perform to be worthy of rest. The very fact that you are here breathing is enough. More than enough. It is the soft flame of life continuing in your chest. The mystery pulsing beneath skin. Sleep welcomes you as you are tangled thoughts, aching bones, unfinished tasks and all. It does not require perfection, only presence, only willingness, only breath. The breath is your lullaby now. Let it guide you away from the edges. Let it walk you back to center. Inhale and feel the body drift toward weightlessness. Exhale and feel it ground itself in calm. Each breath brushing the edges of your awareness like wind through tall grass. No effort, no resistance, just the gradual softening of everything you thought you had to hold. Feel the weight slip away. Let your thoughts dissolve like ink in water. Let the mind grow wider, quieter, dimmer. Let the silence swell until it is all that remains. This is the final bow, not to the world, but to yourself, to the part of you that tried, that showed up, that breathed through the day. You did enough. You were enough. You are enough. And now you bow, not in shame, not in sorrow, but in reverence. Reverence for being, for surviving, for awakening, for breathing. This is the sacred pause before another beginning. This is the place where healing happens not because you force it, but because you allow it. In the womb of sleep, the body mends. The soul expands. The mind forgets just enough to begin again. That's the miracle. That's the gift. And it is already arriving. You are already crossing into that still silver place where thought cannot follow, where identity dissolves, where the mirror of the self reflects only peace. Go there now. Let go completely. Let go fully. Let go without fear. The world will wait. The morning will come. And you resting in the deep well of surrender will rise again. But for now, bow to this moment. Bow to your body. Bow to sleep. Let everything go.